This feudal lord is highly scientific. This video is purely for entertainment and does not infringe on copyrights or laws. The rights to the novel and image belong to the original author. We do not claim ownership. Don't like waiting and want to listen to this fanfic in full now? Subscribe to our Patreon, where you'll find the best fanfics. Chapter 426, The Hope of Breaking Through to Become a Body of Law. In Andrew's experiment, which was as simple as killing a chicken, more than 300 divinities were consumed in total, and more than 90 experiments were conducted. Moreover, these divinities were very fresh. There were several times when the complete divinity was not obtained because the star-like level resistance of the secondary plane was too intense. But it didn't matter. Lin Ke went from being stunned at first to being numb later and then getting used to it. In the end, he also devoted himself to learning. The content of the experiment that Andrew was teaching him was an experiment on laws that he had never heard of in his previous life. Fortunately, he didn't know nothing. For example, he still understood experimental methods, such as comparative experimental methods. After comparison, Lin Ke also found out, if the laws contained in the three divinities are not much different, they will be directly annihilated. If there is a slight difference, only the stronger one will remain. If there is one law of divinity or two, there will not be so many problems. Gradually, as the experiment progressed, Lin Ke finally understood law. Andrew had already figured out the laws of one bloodline and two bloodlines. Andrew spent only a few hours to clearly show the rules of the three bloodlines in front of Lin Ke. The breakthrough of the three bloodlines must be balanced. In other words, the energy, strength, etc. in the three bloodlines must be consistent. In this case, the rules in the three bloodlines cannot interfere with each other and advance at the same time. Otherwise, they will absorb and consume each other and destroy each other. At this time, Lin Ke was discussing his promotion with Andrew. Level 15 and level 21. These two hurdles are very important. Andrew and Lin Ke sat in front of a laboratory table and communicated with each other. Andrew mainly talked, and Lin Ke basically listened. Before level 15, your body is in a normal mortal state and requires normal replenishment and consumption of energy. The defects of your body cannot be modified, at least not through natural growth. At level 15, your body will be changed from the inside out by your blood. If the blood in your soul space is strong enough, you can change into a law body and draw energy from the laws. If it is an elemental body, you can only draw energy from the element. This means that the consumption in your body can be completely provided by the energy of the element or laws, and you no longer need to eat. Before level 15, if you do not eat for a long time, it will still be harmful to your body. At level 21, you will become a legend, which means you must completely condense a godhead or a complete law. When you reach the legendary level, your body will also be completely elemental or law based. You will not have the weaknesses of normal mortals, such as the heart and head. At that time, you will be a life form that is a group of element or a group of laws. Of course, this is only possible in special circumstances. Normally, you are still a mortal body, but you can control it yourself. Andrew used the simplest and most popular language to explain the difference to Lin Ke and also praised him. You are not bad. When Wumian, Darkness and Ruin all said that you can break through, you still maintained the most basic caution. Very good. Although Andrew scolded Lin Ke at the beginning, Lin Ke still enjoyed the praise now. If John, Nix and others came to praise him, he would not feel much. But this was Andrew's praise, and he still enjoyed it. Teacher, I heard from Ruin that there is a way to protect the soul. Lin Ke thought that he had no power to resist in front of Ruin before, so he wanted to ask Andrew if he had any method. Soul power. Generally speaking, this is a realm that only legends can touch. Ruin's talent is in the soul, so he was promoted quickly. Andrew touched his chin. As for you, Ruin's hobby is art, but unfortunately his bloodline is indeed in the soul, so he became a soul manipulator and was indeed promoted quickly. If you want to have enough defense in the soul, you can only achieve it through legendary armor. Andrew thought about it and reached out with his right hand again. No, that took me 30,000 years. A sharp and clear wail came from the other side of Andrew's right hand. Then there was an earring on the palm of Andrew's right hand, and the pendant on the earring was a semicircle. This is clearly a couple's earring, right? Exclamation mark. And, wearing earrings. But Lin Ke also knew that legendary armor was very rare, and he couldn't help but dislike it. Well, this earring is not bad. It's level 21, and it belongs to a male harpy. This secondary plane should be quite far away, so you don't have to worry about being hunted down. Andrew threw the earring to Lin Ke and looked at him twice. It's up to you to use it or not. Lin Ke took the earring very seriously, put it into the space ring, and prepared to use it after leaving the fearless tower. Well, there is no danger now, so I won't wear it for now. By the way, although it's an earring, the semicircle below is useless. As for the hook, you can also make it into a necklace. Andrew said again. Lin Ke was speechless. So he took it out again, took out a few silk threads spit out by the green silkworm, twisted them into a thin rope, and tied it around his neck. Suddenly, a thin layer of pink bubble shadows wrapped around Lin Ke's brain. Lin Ke's soul finally had protection. Okay, this is also my negligence. I should have given it to you when you were 6 years old. Andrew scratched his head and continued. By the way, my bloodline is also knowledge, but I only have one profession, which is scholar. Andrew actually only has one profession? Exclamation mark. Lin Ke was a little surprised. Teacher, why don't you take more jobs? Why take so many jobs? Andrew smiled. The most powerful profession of Emperor Wumian is just king. By the way, he is also known as the Dawn Great Sword, right? In fact, his swordsman stopped at level 11. It's about quality, not quantity. Lin Ke nodded. Well, it's like this for professions, and the same goes for skills. Andrew's words are usually high level. Skills are about quality, not quantity. Most of the time, the sentence you said in the newspaper "one force breaks all laws" still makes sense. As for breakthroughs, do you understand now? How to break through? Andrew scratched his beard. I'm looking forward to it. When you become a legend, you can comprehend so many laws. Maybe in the future you will be stronger than Wumian. I will work hard. Lin Ke nodded and then continued to ask, Teacher, I'm thinking, how about fixing one main profession and one secondary profession for each of my bloodlines? I think it's okay. Andrew also began to think. He also analyzed Lin Ke's skills, occupation, and bloodline with him. They discussed for 3 days and 3 nights. Chapter 427 Invention. The King of Musical Instruments. Andrew was also very careful in teaching Lin Ke about his profession and skills. For example, skills. Lin Ke knew about combining skills, but he didn't know that if the same skill was depicted in all 3 skill positions, it would produce a very huge power. Of course, it doesn't matter if there are too many skills, at least it can deal with more situations. Andrew asked Lin Ke to deliberately hide a few skills and professions as a trump card. As for bloodline, he must ensure that the skills in the 3 bloodlines are at the 14th level of perfection before breaking through. In this way, he can ensure that he can become a law body in knowledge, scientist, and artist, in leader, and knight, in luck, inventor. Now, there is still one profession missing in the luck bloodline. In the end, after discussing with Andrew, Lin Ke thought that the most suitable profession for luck was forger. Scientist, leader, and inventor all need to reach the 14th level of perfection, not a single bit less. Artist, knight, and forger only need to reach the 13th level. Now that it has been decided, Lin Ke will naturally start preparing. Andrew gave Lin Ke free access to the Fearless Tower and a pass, and then drove Lin Ke back. According to Andrew, it is interesting to discuss the domination level breakthrough with Lin Ke. Discussing the 15th level breakthrough? That is simply asking top academicians to discuss elementary school problems, a waste of social resources. Lin Ke returned to the Great Wasteland City. There is basically no difference between the Great Wasteland City with him or without him now. That's it. It's already on the right track. So Lin Ke immediately returned to the villa, called Rika and Kanako from the Kingdom of God out to sleep, and then started working. Inventors and artists can also train forgers and get feedback. It just so happens that Ruan said he wants musical instruments. Lin Ke made some musical instruments in his early years, such as simple rock drums. But later he had no intention of investing in it. And now, it seems that all the musical instruments in his previous life can be made. No matter what the reason, Riven has been helping him. Of course, it may also be because of some painful reasons. Lin Ke can now give feedback to Riven on musical instruments, so he should try his best to give feedback. So, Lin Ke came to the lava throne and began to plan. A relatively simple instrument, maybe the piano, can be made first. Sitting on the throne, the dark blue magic pen was floating in the air, writing on the azan paper. It wrote piano, suona, flute, kinanzeng, flute, violin, pipa, and other musical instruments. Compared with the relatively backward harp, these instruments represent the music boom of the previous life. Of course, Lin Ke plans to make the piano first, which is relatively simple. This is the most basic instrument that many people learn for the first time. And the piano is more suitable for the culture of Nasang. After all, this place is more like the West. That's it. Lin Ke immediately ordered the lava dragon Magnus to prepare materials, not only for the piano, but also for various other musical instruments. The piano is a Western keyboard instrument, known as the king of musical instruments in the West, with 88 keyboards. The structure of modern pianos is sophisticated and complex, with more than 10,000 parts working together in the piano body. The basic structure of upright pianos and grand pianos is the same. They are mainly composed of 6 parts: the piano case, strings, brackets, soundboards, action system, keyboard, silencers, hammers, and pedal system, top rods and pedals. Assembly is not difficult, but the casting of various parts is difficult. Fortunately, although Nasang's factory is not enough to process precision parts, the magic power can. One by one, the materials were delivered and piled in front of Lin Ke's lava throne, clearly classified. When enough things were delivered, Lin Ke stood up and came down. Skill air pressure, skill overheating, skill invention, skill hammer forging. A series of skills were used, and the 3 small trees in the soul space swayed gently. Suddenly, Lin Ke's eyes burst out with a huge amount of white light, and the materials belonging to the piano in front floated up under the effect of the air pressure shield. Lin Ke moved his right hand forward a little, and a high temperature ray suddenly condensed. This ray shot forward, burning and distorting the air. The heat melted the iron ore, and the molten iron changed its shape in the air according to Lin Ke's wishes. At the same time, cutting wood was also very easy, but the manufacture of keys and strings took more time. In front of Lin Ke, an ordinary piano was taking shape. Screws, wooden boards, strings. Finally, 2 hours later, a mahogany piano landed in front of Lin Ke. How about giving it a try? Lin Ke made another piano chair, sat on it, and stroked the keys. The sound was very crisp. And after Lin Ke made the piano, the playing gave feedback again. 3 feedbacks: artist, inventor, and forger. The king of musical instruments, piano, was born. In the previous life, Lin Ke also learned a little piano. After trying it, it should be better than most pianos in the previous life. This piano is Nasang's first piano, and it is a level 5 magic item. Magic piano. Lin Ke played a piece of minuet casually, and as he played, there were waves coming out of the piano. It was soothing, quiet, and melodious, and it seemed to have the effect of accelerating the absorption and recovery of magic power. Similar to the skills of singer, well, it can be derived into pianist, violinist, and other professions later. Lin Ke tried it, and immediately a lot of inspirations emerged in his mind about various professions and his brother's musical instruments. Taking advantage of this inspiration, Lin Ke immediately came up with many professions. For example, suona player, flute player, and the like. There were more than a dozen professions, one for each instrument. Even when inspiration came, Lin Ke also came up with tuner, composer, and the like. If other people saw this scene, it is estimated that just saying Andrew's legs would not be enough to express their shock. It is estimated that they would have to swallow a pair of Andrew's legs to express that kind of shock. This is a profession. Nasang, or most planes including Nasang, as long as there is a professional system, basically lack professions. The major forces even have to treasure the ratio of various professional characteristics, and only core members can take up the post, and they have to sign various unequal treaties before they can take up the post. For example, the Shadow Killer organization is like this. There is only one special profession, Shadow Hunter, and then it is enough to support them to become a force. And now, the professions described by Lin Ke are presented like flowing water. Chapter 428, Life Symphony. Shocked? Lin Ke was not shocked. He has a world of background. And that is the material world, a world without magical element. In these aspects, he is many years ahead of Nassim. Of course, although Nassim is not as good as the Earth in technology, culture, thought, entertainment, etc., its magical power is far beyond. At least, Emperor Wumian can crush it clean, while the Star Destroyer cannon in the previous life only exists in science fiction. Technology is an overall level, which can improve the military floor of a civilization. Magic is a single level, which can improve the military ceiling of a civilization. Each has its own advantages and disadvantages. As a pioneer in the combination of technology and magic, Dahuang City has a lot of professional characteristics in Lin Ke's hands, and all the names have been announced to the outside world. For example, Takeaway Knight. In short, the professions described by Lin Ke have attracted countless people from the outside world. Unfortunately, the security here in Dahuang City is quite strict. If people below the legendary level do not have an ID card or a permit, they will be discovered as soon as they enter Dahuang City. You must know that Dahuang City was built by architect Velen for several years, and the entire city can be regarded as a whole. There is also the dragon soul of the magma dragon Magnus as the city spirit. As for the legends, either there is no lack of professional characteristics, or there is no need to make enemies with the Gila Kingdom. In short, although there are minor fights, there is basically no major loss in the Great Wilderness City. At this time, more than a dozen professions appeared again. Lin Ke put them away and started to make other musical instruments. Gradually, one instrument after another was made by him. He is not very good at other instruments, but fortunately he still remembers some songs from his previous life. After all, as his level increases, his memory is getting better and better. Things that were only a glimpse in his previous life will be reflected in his memory as clearly as a knife and an axe. So, more than a dozen musical instruments were matched with more than a dozen professions and made. These professions are just casual works, and most of them are estimated not to be able to go to the battlefield, so Lin Ke did not pay much attention to them. Anyway, they were given to Riven. Magnus, ask Sophie to come over. Lin Ke took out the lava staff and tapped the ground. Is Ramir in the Great Wasteland City? The dragon soul of the magma dragon appeared and bowed his head and said, Lord Lin Ke, Rami has gone to the abyss for a tour, and Sophie should be at home. Okay, let her come over. Lin Ke nodded and then said, where is Ruin? Lord Ruin is recuperating in the Legend Hotel. Well, specifically, it seems that he has called 5 male companions and is taking a hot spring bath. Magnax the magma dragon said hesitantly. 5. Lin Ke was silent for a while, and Magnax the magma dragon was also a little embarrassed. Forget it. When he finishes the bath, tell him that everything is ready, and then you can notify me. Okay. While they were talking, Sophie also arrived. Master. Sophie wore a maid suit that was designed by Lin Ke in his spare time. Of course, Lin Ke didn't design it on purpose at all. It was just a matter of convenience. For example, he designed pajamas, uniforms, nurse outfits, and many other types, all for various professions, and maid outfits are just a side job. At this time, Lin Ke saw Sophie's gothic maid outfit, and his eyes lit up immediately. She was wearing. This description is omitted. You know the reason. Master, I'm here. Sophie glanced at Lin Ke quietly and saw that Lin Ke was looking at his suit, and her face suddenly blushed. What's the matter? Oh, you're here. Oh, yes. Look at me. Your clothes are very suitable. I'm dazzled. Ha ha. Lin Ke reacted, scratched his head, and then smiled. Look, these are the instruments I made. You try them. There are also these professions. You can also take a look and learn. Sophie's attention was immediately attracted by the pile of musical instruments. Come on. Lin Ke sat in front of the piano chair and waved to Sophie. You are very talented in music. You may learn it quickly. Watch me play it once. Okay. Sophie's bright eyes looked at the piano carefully, her eyes full of curiosity. She really likes music. Listen carefully, watch carefully, Lin Ke said, and then began to play. Sophie bent down, carefully leaned over to listen to Lin Ke's explanation, and secretly looked at Lin Ke's profile from time to time. This time Lin Ke played a song Dance of the Four Little Swans. The light style of the music surprised Sophie, and shifted her attention. Sophie's musical heart immediately suppressed other thoughts, and began to explore, and check the piano. While Lin Ke was playing, the following is omitted. Lin Ke's eyes twitched, and the notes were all played wrong. Sophie noticed that the notes played by Lin Ke were wrong, and at the same time she could feel that Lin Ke's breathing was a little heavier. Suddenly, she knew that her posture was not decent. Then, as she listened, Sophie felt that the sound of the piano slowed down until it stopped. It was night, and Lin Ke taught Sophie, who was touching an instrument for the first time, to play the music of life for a long time. For example, the pipa, gently plucked, slowly twisted, wiped, and picked repeatedly. For example, the flute, played for 3 hours and the lingering sound lingered in the beams. Sophie also felt the exquisiteness and beauty of Lin Ke's instrumental skills for the first time, so she sang along with Lin Ke's instrument. She is a singer, and when she sings, her voice rises and falls, like a sea wolf, one wolf higher than another. The power of the singer is so terrifying. The harp and the zither are in harmony. Of course, in the end, Lin Ke also said that Sophie can find him when she has time, and if he is free, he can teach Sophie to play various instruments again. Sophie also said that the state of unity between man and instrument is particularly wonderful, and she likes to compose the music of life. Then, Lin Ke prepared everything, especially after hanging the earrings with soul defense on her chest. She contacted Ruin with a refreshed mind. Oh, traces of life, the music of life. Ruin looked at the piano casually, looked at Lin Ke with a smile, and then his eyes fell on Lin Ke's chest again. TSK, the fruit of love. Andrew is really cruel. As he said, Ruin went to the piano to check, supporting himself with both hands and looking inside. However, Ruin's posture was not elegant. Seems like Sophie. Lin Ke was shocked. Ruin even extended the tip of his tongue with a stud, tasted a key on the piano, and licked it. Lin Ke's eyes twitched, because that was where he and Sophie played the most intensely. And why were those postures the same as Sophie's? Exclamation mark. Damn, brother Ruin, why are you lying down? Lin Ke quickly coughed twice. Ahem. With these instruments, you can compose the movement of life or the movement of destruction. It's up to you. As for Teacher Andrew's gift, weakness is the original sin. Chapter 429 Meeting with Grand Duke Deep Blue. Ruin's face flushed after checking all the instruments. He tried some flutes and other tubular instruments. He also tried some fingertip techniques for playing the kin. I don't know why, but as Ruin played, he looked drunk and his face flushed. Ruin himself looked androgynous, but at this moment, he was a grown man, but he looked very charming. That face looked like an exquisite work of art, which made Lin Ke want to ravage it. Wait, that's not right. Ravage? Exclamation mark. Lin Ke's heart twitched, and he felt sick. Haha, very good. This batch of fresh instruments, great taste, good artistic element, the taste of life. Ruin wiped a handful of the piano next to him with his index finger, and then tasted it, and the whole person looked even more weird. Ahem. Then brother-in-law Ruin, you can take it away. I have something else to do. I'll leave first. Lin Ke suppressed a certain impulse. Damn, Ruin is a man. How can he be so weird? I've never heard that Ruin has the blood of fairies and banshees. He hurried to the balcony and used the air pressure shield to carry himself away. The posture of leaving was as if he was chasing a legendary enemy behind him, running fast. Ruin stayed where he was, not knowing what he was thinking, his face getting redder and redder. Of course, there was also a dragon soul of a magma dragon in the dark, watching all this excitedly and recording it in a notebook. It said, "My daily life with my brother-in-law." Lin Ke flew to the villa, and the evil fire that was aroused by Ruin poured on pour liquor again. Liquor was cooking. It turned from cooking to love. I told you about that little girl Sophie a long time ago, but you just felt that you couldn't delay her. Afterwards, Lin Ke leaned against Lin Ke, gently hit Lin Ke's chest, and said, Lalita waited for you for a few years at the beginning. Who knew that you are just like the conifer man in the Everfrozen court? Lalita? Lin Ke shook his head. He knew that Lalita was interested in him, but now Lalita and Nyx are also very happy. It can only be said that this is a pity. No one can get what they want. After all, life is not so perfect. Lin Ke and Lin Ke were sitting on the sofa chatting, and suddenly there was a knock on the door. Master, the Grand Duke of Deep Blue is here, and he said he wants to meet you. John said outside the door. Grand Duke of Deep Blue? Lin Ke and Lin Ke looked at each other and narrowed their eyes. Why did Uncle Deep Blue come to you? Lin Ke frowned. She also learned about the layout of the Grand Duke of Deep Blue from Lin Ke. Since she was a child, the Grand Duke of Deep Blue has always felt very fake to her, like a fake smile and fake kindness to her, all fake. After Lin Ke said his speculation and conjecture, the image of the Grand Duke of Deep Blue and Lin Ke's heart was even lower than the freezing point. I don't know. Lin Ke took a deep breath and said to John, take him to the top of the Great Wilderness Tower. By the way, go and ask the teacher. Whether it is the Princess of Mist or Uwen, they are all juniors of Deep Blue. As a powerful existence of level 27, the Deep Blue Duke is only one step away from being the master. Whether it is Riven or Mist, including Darkness, they are not good enough in front of the Deep Blue Duke. In fact, AOF is not good enough either. But AOF is at least of high enough generation. Moreover, Lin Ke and the Deep Blue Duke are of the same generation. Both of them are nobles of the Kingdom of Gila. He won't do anything. Your father is here, and I'm also a disciple of Teacher Andrew. Lin Ke touched Lin Ke's hair, then stood up, and a black suit flew out of the closet and fit him directly. I will accompany you too. Lin Ke also stood up, and a dress was also put on her body, as if it had life. After thinking for a while, Lin Ke nodded. Okay. Lin Ke is the youngest daughter most favored by the Emperor Wumian, and I believe that the Deep Blue Duke will also have some concerns. Then let's go. Lin Ke took Lin Ke's hand and came out, and John was already waiting. You go and do your work, John. We'll go first. Lin Ke waved his hand, and John took his leave and went to the city hall to continue his work. He turned over and rode on Zyro's Ingayan, flying to the top of the Great Wilderness Tower. Lin Ke was already level 15 and could fly, so she flew over with him. When they came to the balcony outside the top of the Great Wilderness Tower, there was a man standing there, overlooking the beautiful scenery of the entire city. This man had a deep face, holding the railing with both hands. His eyebrows and hair were dark blue, and he frowned slightly. The whole person was imposing, and it was obvious that this person was an old-fashioned noble. The arrival of Lin Ke and Lin Ke did not divert his attention at all, and he was still enjoying the scenery. Seeing this scene, Lin Ke was extremely alert. After landing, he and Lin Ke came behind the Deep Blue Grand Duke. Your Excellency the Deep Blue Grand Duke. Lin Ke came behind the Deep Blue Grand Duke and hammered his chest to show respect. I'm here, Uncle Deep Blue. Lin Ke was not as casual as usual, and also saluted. Well, come and take a look at the scenery. Duke Deep Blue said to Lin Ke and Lin Ke without turning his head. Take a look at the scenery? Lin Ke and Lin Ke had seen the scenery of Dahuang City countless times, and even shed sweat or other water on this railing. Dahuang City is so great. This place used to be a vast wilderness, just a lava swamp. Lin Ke and Lin Ke did not go over, but Grand Duke Deep Blue had already started talking to himself. The lava swamp is such a large area, but my powerful and intelligent brother did not come to occupy it, and only let the little girl Chaozi come over. Haha, I know he is luring the Holy Life Alliance in from there. But how could he have thought that he was not only luring the Holy Life Alliance? There is also the Gila Kingdom. There are so many traitors in the Gila Kingdom. You know, the Holy Life Alliance was once the #1 force in Nassam. There are so many slaves with broken spines, those who can't stand up after kneeling for so long. Grand Duke Deep Blue said, and sighed. The moon goddess is very smart, and Trang is also very smart, but because they are too smart, they are very stupid. Very smart, very stupid. Hearing such words, Lin Ke and Lin Ke's vigilance was raised to the highest level. At this moment, the Deep Blue Duke turned around and saw Lin Ke's eyes. Once you enter my deep blue domain, you will naturally emit information from deep within your heart. Oh, yes, you seem to have said in the newspaper that it is called the subconscious. Well, so, in your ancestral subconscious, you are hostile and wary of me? The deep blue duke narrowed his eyes and smiled. You know everything? Chapter 430 Threat. Deep blue heart. You know everything? Lin Ke's heart was in turmoil, and Lika's expression froze. You all listen to me. Shenlong smiled. Otherwise, even if your father comes, I can kill you. Kill them. Lin Ke's eyes focused, and the wand of annihilation in the space ring was ready, and could be taken out at any time. However, he still said, not only the Emperor Wumian, my ancestor Raven, as a powerful master. Haha, Raven? Are you talking about the ancestor simulated by your magic item? Shenlong laughed twice, and looked at the palace guard bracelet on Lin Ke's hand. If you take out Talzic's wand of annihilation, you will die. Palace guard bracelet and wand of annihilation. Lin Ke's greatest reliance was actually revealed by Grand Duke Shenlong. Andrew said that only beings above level 28 can detect his disguise. And they must be proficient in the soul. It seems that Grand Duke Shenlong is such a strong man. Come, let's talk. Shenlong repeated this sentence again, then turned around, and continued to enjoy the beautiful scenery of Dahuang City. At this time, a layer of light blue film wrapped the three of them. Aofu didn't see them when he arrived. He just went into the round table conference room, and rested in his seat. Sir Shenlong. Lin Ke took a deep breath. He didn't expect that the Grand Duke of Shenlong was so cautious that he actually used the deep blue field to detect Lin Ke. Or, this might not be the first time to detect it. Huh. What's wrong, little Lin Ke? The Grand Duke of Shenlong didn't even turn his head. I watched you grow up since you were a child. The deep blue giant tiger I released has become your magic pen, right? Sure enough, when he was a child, Lin Ke was actually in danger. It's just that for some reason, the Grand Duke of Shenlong couldn't attack Lin Ke directly. It's a pity that I couldn't show up at that time, so I had to let Delin come. It's a pity. The Grand Duke of Shenlong didn't change his expression, and there was no regret at all. Antova didn't do things according to my imagination, and Baron Sandal was ruined by Horth. Lin Ke, what is your bloodline? If the goddess of luck had not been killed by astrologer Debius, I would have suspected that you were her illegitimate child. The tone of the Grand Duke of Deep Blue was full of emotion. Of course, I know that most of these events are the result of your own efforts. But, what's the use of hard work alone? If hard work is useful, I will not be just a Grand Duke, and he will not be His Majesty. You were not chosen as king back then. Were you very angry? Lin Ke narrowed his eyes. Then you can go and confront His Majesty Wumian. Why embarrass us? Aggrieved. Grand Duke of Deep Blue was silent, then sighed. He is more suitable to be king than me. Lin Ke raised his eyebrows. Then why do you? Because I want to destroy the kingdom of Gila. Grand Duke of Deep Blue sneered. Destroy the kingdom of Gila. Why? Lin Ke was a little puzzled. This is not good for you. Even if the Deep Blue Duke is the master with the Gila kingdom and the sleepless emperor behind him is different from the master alone. Because of Jessie G. Lika said a name, as if she had a flash of inspiration. When hearing this name, the Deep Blue Duke, who always remained calm even when facing a mountain collapse, suddenly twisted his face. You don't know. After that old guy killed Jessie G for some ridiculous reason like for the kingdom, he said that I was not fit to be the king, and gave the position to my ridiculous brother. I'm more talented. I'm more scheming. I'm more selfless. I only have one request, that is to get my Jessie G back. But, what about that old guy? What did he do? The Deep Blue Duke's face was ferocious, and there were faint blue lines fluctuating in the air around him. Those lines seemed like sparkling waves, but they could easily cut through the space and reveal the dark void behind them. If I were the king, the Everfrost Council would not have turned against Gila because of the death of the Ice and Snow Goddess. If I were the king, the Moon Goddess and the eldest prince would have been killed by me without mercy for what they did to you, Azan. If I were the king, I would have long ago joined forces with the Everfrost Council to occupy the Holy Life Alliance. That guy Wumian. Too much love. Too soft. Too stupid. He is just a reckless man like a fishman. Since the old guy attaches so much importance to the so-called kingdom, and since the old guy thinks Wu Mian is more suitable to be the king, then I will destroy everything he cherishes. The Deep Blue Duke spoke sternly, but his body did not move. He just held the railing with his hands, which had crushed it into pieces. I will destroy the kingdom of Gila, destroy the name of Black and White, and at the same time, destroy the Holy Life Alliance. I will not let go of any of these things that killed Jesse G. Destroy them all. I want. The Deep Blue Duke took a deep breath, and then slowly exhaled. I want to destroy the kingdom of Gila, destroy Nasang, and destroy everything. Destroy everything. Lin Ke and Lin Ke were stunned by the words of the Deep Blue Duke. The Deep Blue Duke actually wanted to destroy everything. The reason was not for Lin Wen's dominance or his own interests, but for love. The Deep Blue Duke's love? Aunt Jessie would definitely not do the same as you do. Lin Ke frowned, although I have never seen her, but shut up. Grand Duke Deep Blue turned his head, staring at Lin Ke with a pair of azure pupils. You are not worthy to talk about her. You have black and white blood flowing in your body. You are destined to owe her. Being scolded by Grand Duke Deep Blue, Lin Ke calmed down instead, and said lightly, you also have black and white blood flowing in your body. Aunt Jess's sacrifice is largely due to you. No, I'm no longer of black and white blood. Grand Duke Deep Blue sneered. I have studied blood for hundreds of years, and created countless deep blue monsters. Finally, I successfully replaced my black and white blood with other blood, and thus broke through the Overlord. Humph, Gila blood. Haha. Grand Duke Deep Blue looked a little crazy, without the calmness and elegance that Lin Ke had seen before. What? You don't want the blood of black and white? Lin Ke was a little shocked. You betrayed your own soul? My soul? The Deep Blue Duke turned around and looked at the sky. My soul belongs to Jesse G, not black and white. Although Lin Ke didn't quite understand the whole story, he also heard the general idea. His expression was tense, and he was considering whether to take out the Wand of Annihilation. The Deep Blue Duke was too bold. Maybe he found some clues and knew that Lin Ke had inquired about him, so he immediately invited Lin Ke to meet. And now, the Deep Blue Duke's bloodline has even been replaced? Exclamation mark. You know, bloodline is not the kind of blood in the previous life. Bloodline is rooted in the soul. How can it be replaced? At this time, the Deep Blue Duke suddenly chuckled. I also herded some void star beasts outside. I know where your mother's soul is. The Deep Blue Duke said to Lin Ke. Chapter 431 The Arrival of the Star Beast. Where did Feudal's soul go? Lin Ke's pupils trembled. It turned out that the one who was herding the void star beasts outside to study blood was the Grand Duke of Deep Blue! Exclamation mark. How come everything that happened around Lin Ke was inseparable from the figure of the Grand Duke of Deep Blue? Could it be that the fall of the King of Gods was also related to the Grand Duke of Deep Blue in the beginning? Lin Ke was a little unsure, but he knew it. Azanan has always been just a point in the Grand Duke of Deep Blue's layout. In these years, the Grand Duke of Deep Blue has not only made a layout, but also transformed his own blood. That's the blood of the Gila royal family. Gila, the ultimate black and the dazzling white. Countless people want and crave the Gila bloodline. Just look at the royal family and you will know. Needless to say, Emperor Wu Mian has the strongest power of darkness and light, known as the Great Sword of Dawn. His sons and daughters are all related to light or darkness, such as the eldest prince, the dark girl and the like. Or it could be the maternal bloodline inherited by Rika, Princess Mist, or Lady Tide. The ability of the Deep Blue Duke is similar to wave light, which is the scattering, reflection, and refraction of light by the water surface, so he is called the Deep Blue Duke. But now, the Deep Blue Duke doesn't want the Gila bloodline at all, but has changed to other bloodlines! Exclamation mark. Lin Ke didn't know what to say about this. The power of love. Maybe more than that. But no matter what, he and Rika are in danger now. I have to say that your mother is a strong woman, just like Jess, but unfortunately, the Deep Blue Duke shook his head, and his expression had calmed down at this time. What price do you want me to pay? Lin Ke didn't ask what do you want, because it was obvious that the Deep Blue Duke wanted the collapse of the Gila kingdom. Price? Price? The Deep Blue Duke repeated the word twice, full of sarcasm, exactly the same as the old guy back then. I'm leaving. My bloodline has completed the transformation. Nasum. Heh, Nasum. The deep blue duke smiled, then turned around, took out the deep blue scepter belonging to the Gila kingdom, and threw it towards Lin Ke. Here it comes. Lin Ke instantly took out the wand of annihilation, and the next moment he was about to draw out the power inside. There is information about your mother in it. Decide whether to accept it or not. Ha ha ha. The deep blue duke spread his cloak like a devil ray and cut open a space crack. At the other end of the space crack, there was the abyss. I'm going to collect some interest. Goodbye Nasum. After saying this, the deep blue duke stepped into it and disappeared. At this time, Lin Ke was stiff all over and didn't dare to draw out the power at all. There is information about Feudal in it. The deep blue scepter flew over, and Lin Ke finally chose to accept it. If the deep blue duke wanted to kill him, it would only take a moment. The deep blue duke wants to use him. Since he is using him, there is a chance to turn it around. Accept it. So, the sapphire gem on the top of the deep blue scepter shot straight at Lin Ke's forehead. Crack. After the gem hit Lin Ke's forehead, it suddenly exploded and turned into a few drops of water, or rather, light reflected by the water. This light shot directly into Lin Ke's head and was about to rush into Lin Ke's soul space. But the earrings on Lin Ke's chest suddenly glowed, and the pink bubble phantom outside the soul space turned into a lifelike feather. The blue wave light shot over like a sharp sword and hit the feather heavily. The fluff on the feather fell off immediately. But fortunately, it did not collapse. The blue wave light sword suddenly dispersed, and Lin Ke immediately saw a picture. It was a nervous female soul, possessed by a scorpion-like void star beast, and then moved its pincers to break through the turbulent flow of the star realm and swam towards the depths of the star realm. It was Feudal. Feudal's soul pursed his lips tightly, with a strong look on his face. He controlled the body of the scorpion-shaped void star beast and came to a large plane. Then he carefully cut a hole and got in. This video was played only once and disappeared, but Lin Ke had memorized the details in it. However, Lin Ke didn't know the coordinates of that plane yet. Plane coordinates. As long as he knew the plane coordinates, Lin Ke could directly build a teleportation array to go there. It seems that he can only explore slowly in the future. Lin Ke remembered it in his heart. At this time, Lika's voice called him out. Lin Ke, look. Lika's voice was solemn. Lin Ke opened his eyes and looked. He saw a space crack in the sky, and a one-eyed dragonfly-shaped void star beast was coming out of it, looking at the great wasteland city below. Lin Ke, why are you here? Aofu inside also came out, with a surprised face, and then he also found the fluctuation above his head. Haha, a star beast. Looks like I can get one more material. I want. The voice of Guan Mobi from the legendary forge sounded, but it became smaller in an instant. As his voice became smaller, the sky changed again. Wow. Space cracks appeared one after another, and inside the cracks was not a void, but colorful star turbulence. Void star beasts poked their heads out of the space cracks, and looked at everything in the great wasteland city. 10, 100, 1000. Hundreds and thousands of void star beasts appeared, looking at the great wasteland city below. Not good. This is not a void star beast, this is a star beast. Aofu frowned and shouted coldly, Lin Ke, the whole city is on alert. After saying this, a huge amount of thunder escaped from Aofu's body, and his whole body rose into the air. After Aofu rose into the air, the entire Great Wasteland Tower exuded a bright glow, and lightning and electricity flowed throughout the tower. The defense system of the Great Wasteland Tower was originally built for AOF. The entire tower was filled with many items with lightning and electromagnetic properties. Under AOF's guidance, the entire tower and AOF were mutually inductive, producing an effect where 1 + 1 was greater than 2. AOF took out his thunder staff and pointed it toward the sky. A ball of thick plasma shot up into the sky, standing right in the center of the Great Wasteland City. Boom boom boom. As the plasma rose into the sky, lightning element and metal element within 100 miles of the entire city began to gather. Roar. Suddenly, a star beast opened the crack in space and roared down, aiming at the citizens of the Great Wasteland City below. Star beasts are born to destroy life. Boom. A bolt of lightning shot out from the plasma ball and hit the star beast, killing it on the spot. The star beast's body turned into a ball of charcoal and fell down, and was taken away by Li Guanmobi, who was also floating in the air. A cheer suddenly broke out in the great wasteland city. However, Lin Ke had a serious expression. Because at this moment, all the virtual beasts in the star realm were moving, rushing down one by one like dumplings. Dahuang City. Highest alert. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelos. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 432, Abyss Family Dinner. Wumian was assassinated? Exclamation mark. Too many. Each of these Star Realm virtual beasts is extremely powerful, and the lowest is level 15. This is the Deep Blue Grand Duke who wants to destroy the Great Wilderness City. The Deep Blue Grand Duke. Lin Ke stared at the sky, and then asked Lin Ke, "Didn't my father-in-law and the others respond?" Lin Ke held a scroll in her hand, which was originally used to contact the Emperor Wumian and the five-colored dragon mother, but there was no response at this time. "I'm worried about my father and my mother." Lin Ke's face was ugly. The five-colored dragon mother and the others didn't know, but the Emperor Wumian trusted his brothers the most. The Deep Blue Grand Duke is Wumian's elder brother, and the Mountain Grand Duke is Wumian's younger brother. Emperor Wumian, who values friendship, is likely to be injured by the Deep Blue Grand Duke if he is not prepared. Lin Ke took out a stone piece from the space ring, but he couldn't communicate with the Fearless Tower. Li Guanmobi, Ruwen, the Dark Girl and the Mist Princess teleported to the top of the Great Wilderness Tower and looked at Lin Ke. "What's going on, Zyro Lin Ke?" Li Guanmobi's face was serious. Why can't I sense the fundamental rules of Nasang? Nasang's fundamental rules. Above the law, there are rules. It's the Grand Duke of Deep Blue. Lin Ke solemnly recounted everything he and Lin Ke had just encountered. After he finished speaking, several people were shocked. The Grand Duke of Deep Blue has always been known for being strict and old-fashioned, but no one thought that the Grand Duke of Deep Blue would betray father. The Princess of Misty glanced at the Dark Girl, and the two also thought of Wumian. At this time, King Che flew from a distance in shock, at a very fast speed. King Che was guarding the Great Wall Fortress, and would not be dispatched easily. "Lord Lin Ke, we have been torn apart." Abyss, 897th floor, the bottom floor. The figure of the Grand Duke of Deep Blue appeared directly outside the palace, and inside was the residence of Emperor Wumian. The Grand Duke of Deep Blue walked up slowly, with a deep momentum. He walked into the palace without any obstruction, and then saw the Emperor Wumian sitting barefoot at a round table, with the five-colored dragon mother, the moon goddess, the great prince, the Grand Duke of the Mountains, and the gardener's wife all there. There was also a legendary wind spreader next to him, carrying a plate and adding red dragon ribs to a steaming pot on the table. "Come on, Deep Blue, you've come just in time. Come sit down and eat hot pot." The Emperor Wumian waved his hand and pointed casually at the empty space next to him, and a chair appeared out of thin air. "The food that Xiaolin made is really interesting." The great prince stood up. "Uncle Deep Blue, come on." There were also two legendary magic bird chicken legs in his bowl. "Oh no, eagle legs." Grand Duke Deep Blue was silent, and in silence he came to sit next to the Emperor Wumian. The moon goddess had a pale face, and there were only some green vegetables cultivated by the wood godhead in her bowl. The five-colored dragon mother picked up 2 pieces of black dragon ribs, chewed them together with the bones, and swallowed them. The gardener's wife was just smiling as she drank the juice squeezed from the divine fruit on a certain world tree, with the laws floating in it. The Duke of the Mountain and the Emperor Wumian were fighting for the last legendary bull beast's tail in the pot, but because the Emperor Wumian was distracted to transform into a chair, the tail was snatched away by the Duke of the Mountain. "Haha, you have never been able to snatch from me since you were a child." Fury, pour me some more ice and fire juice. Haha. The Duke of the Mountain laughed. Then he bit off half of the tail, looked at the Duke of Deep Blue across from the Emperor Wumian, and divided the other half into 2 portions, putting them in the bowls of the Duke of Deep Blue and the Emperor Wumian. "When we were young, Brother Deep Blue was the strictest. This thing was divided among the 3 of us. As he said this, he laughed, and the Emperor Wumian also laughed. The Duke of Deep Blue also smiled and said, "After all, we want fairness." As he said this, he smiled, picked up the fork directly, put a piece of red dragon ribs into the bowl, and then grabbed the ribs with his hands without caring about his image, and began to feast on them. After a few bites, he laughed and said, "Good meat. This red dragon meat is really delicious. Oh, has Brother Deep Blue changed his temper today?" The Duke of the Mountain was surprised, and then he ate a piece like the Duke of Deep Blue, saying that it was very satisfying. His temper has never changed. The Duke of Deep Blue smiled, and drank 2 sips of juice. It's a pity that the plains are always changing, and the star realms are always changing. Yes. The Emperor Wumian took a bite of the fire god pepper, and a few wisps of flames came out of his mouth. The star realms of the heavens are vast and boundless. We puff, 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 puff. 5 consecutive light sounds. 5 slender scales with a bright blue light inserted into the body of the Emperor Wumian. The eyes, back of the head, heart and belly button of the Emperor Wumian were nailed with slender blue scales. No blood flowed down, and the majestic energy roared out from the wound like a tsunami, and the hot pot was overturned, directly making a mess of the palace. Energy, laws, rules, divinity, and the power of faith all rolled down from the body of the sleepless emperor like a mudslide. Something unexpected happened. Several people were stunned. Only the moon goddess looked calm, as if she had expected it. Of course, there was another person who looked normal. That was the sleepless emperor. The sleepless emperor took another bite of the chili in his hand, ignoring the things leaning out of his body, and smiled foolishly. "Brother, why are you like this?" the Mountain Duke exclaimed, reached out and grabbed the Deep Blue Duke's neck. The Deep Blue Duke did not dodge, but returned to his usual silent appearance. The 5-colored dragon mother, the moon goddess, and the gardener's wife were all silent. The eldest prince exclaimed and summoned 3 spheres of 3 primary colors. The next moment, 3 rays of light were about to be emitted to shine on the body of the Deep Blue Duke. The wind spreader took out a bunch of medicine bottles and wanted to give them to the sleepless emperor to heal his wounds. "Tron, don't be rude to your uncle Deep Blue." Emperor Wumian didn't open his eyes and still had 2 scales stuck in his body, but he raised his hand to stop the eldest prince's action. "You and Ziona go down. This is the elder's business." The eldest prince looked at Emperor Wumian in surprise. "Don't pretend. Get out." The moon goddess spoke calmly, obviously to the eldest prince. Immediately, the eldest prince took a deep breath, put away his legendary weapon, and then left with the confused wind spreader, and walked out of the palace. Emperor Wumian spoke at this time. "The most recent time was when you gave me the throne. The time before that was when Jessie G fell. The 3rd time was when the wild boar attacked. The 4th time was when you gave me the only piece of fruitcake. And the 5th time, you protected me behind you, saying that I was your brother, and that no one was allowed to bully me." Emperor Wumian sighed. "Yes, I'm your brother. You are good to me, and give in to me in everything, but I killed Jessie G, and took your throne. These 5 scales, my 5 lives, are considered to be my repayment to you." Chapter 433 Andrew's Elemental Decomposition. Emperor Wumian said, and the contents of his body kept flowing out from the wound. The 5-colored dragon mother and the others just sat there, without any other movements or words. It was not that they did not dare to speak, but Wumian had told them not to speak at this time. After all, this was a matter between Wumian and his brothers, and it was related to Wumian's heart not. At this time, Wumian was seriously injured. Those 5 scales were not ordinary things, and the attacker was the Deep Blue Duke, which made them even more powerful. So, there is no debt now. Wumian sighed, waved his hand, and the 5 scales disappeared immediately, and the wound healed naturally. Shenlin did not move when he saw this scene, but his pupils shrank violently, and he said in a dry voice, "You took that step. Is it important?" Wumian Emperor smiled. "I told you that it is not important whether you take that step or not, and it is not even important whether you are the master or not. Those are just external. What is important is your heart." Wumian Emperor smiled and suddenly lost interest. "Go away. Stay away from Nassim. The next time I see you, you will be dead. Your indecision will sooner or later make you fall with the abyss." Shenlong Grand Duke spoke in a hoarse voice. Those emotions and experiences are what support me and make me strong. Wumian Emperor replied lightly, go away. This is the first time he has spoken in this attitude since he and Shenlong Grand Duke were born. Shenlong Grand Duke's body trembled involuntarily. After a while, he turned around, cut a space crack, stepped into it, and then disappeared. The palace was quiet for a while. 5 colors, Moon, Gardener, you go and help Lin Ke and the others. They are the spark of Gila's reform. Emperor Wumian sighed, I'm seriously injured and want to rest. Several people were silent. They knew that Emperor Wumian was not seriously injured, but was traumatized. Brother. The Duke of the Mountain opened his mouth, not knowing what to say. Mountain, you go to guard the deep blue territory. Don't give the Everfrizz Council and the Holy Life Alliance any chance. Emperor Wumian raised his right hand weakly, then turned and walked towards his bedroom. The Duke of the Mountain looked at the 5 colors dragon mother, sister-in-law. What should we do? Follow Wumian's instructions. The 5 colors dragon mother walked towards the bedroom and followed Wumian. Sister Moon, you and the gardener go, help Lin Ke and the others, and ease the relationship. The moon goddess did not speak, and directly cut through the space and walked out. Mrs. Gardner said happily, I will go to the border, to prevent the star and the ocean of waves. As she said that, she also stepped into the space crack. The Duke of the Mountains knew that only the 5-colored dragon mother could comfort Emperor Wumian at this time, so he shook his head and left. The 5-colored dragon mother followed Wumian. Wumian got on the bed, covered his head with a quilt, hugged the pillow, and curled up like a child. The 5-colored dragon mother came over and hugged Wumian from behind. Wumian shed tears, light and clear, the tears of a mortal, soaking the pillow. The two of them were quiet, not talking, and hugged each other quietly. Dahuang City. Densely packed star elm virtual beasts fell from the sky and then were killed by the lightning shot out from the plasma ball and fell down. Occasionally, there were fish that slipped through the defense line of the plasma ball, but they were also shot down one by one. At the edge, a thin layer of mist surrounded the ground, and outside the mist was a colorful color. Star Elm. The Great Wasteland City, the Lava Swamp, and the Great Wall Fortress. This large area was all cut off, falling off from Nassen to become an independent small plane, floating in the star world. Countless monsters roared and ran on the ground in panic, and all beasts were panicked. The territory of the Duke of Lava was cut off. The Duke of Lava became an independent plane outside of Nassen, and it seemed to be very far away from Nassen. Countless creatures were panicked, and countless star beasts were staring outside. At this moment, a phantom suddenly appeared in the direction of the Great Wasteland City. I'm the Duke of Lava, Lin Ke. Lin Ke's figure was hundreds of thousands of meters high under the blessing of the Great Wasteland City and a bottle of order potion. Optical skills. Plus acoustic skills. Intelligent life. Calm down. The Great Wasteland City will handle everything. We have His Majesty Wumian and the Sage Andrew. All the creatures heard Lin Ke's voice and gradually quieted down, especially Wumian and Andrew, which made these creatures feel safe and secure. At this time, legends such as Li Guan Mobi also followed Aofu to take action. They rushed out of the Great Wasteland City, and various strange noises and laws swept outward, one person guarding an area, including the Warcraft Kings and the Lava Swamp. They all took off into the air to fight those densely packed star beasts. At this time, Lin Ke was standing on the platform at the top of the Great Wasteland Tower. Behind him, the followers all looked unhappy. Ms. Black Mountain said with an ugly face, if it is separated, many things will change, and our Scarlet Great Wasteland and the trade union will also. Especially the trade union and the auction, which were proposed by Lin Ke not long ago. If the Great Wasteland itself becomes a plane, what's the point of playing? Lin Ke. At this time, Andrew's voice emerged. Andrew. The followers saw the thin figure appearing next to Lin Ke, and they all pounded their chests to show respect. Teacher Andrew. Lin Ke also pounded his chest. Lin Ke, build a magic tower. Let all the professionals take it first. You follow me. Andrew said concisely, then soared into the air and said loudly, above level 20, follow me. As Andrew took off, an unparalleled layer of rainbow light shot out from his body, forming rainbows that penetrated the entire plane. It was like a rainbow jade plate, rushing upwards with his flight. Along the way, all the virtual beasts of the star realm would directly melt into the rainbow jade plate as soon as they touched it, and they could not escape. This is my skill, element decomposition. Next to Andrew was Lin Ke, and under Andrew's skill element decomposition, there were legends. There were Li Guan Mobi, Aofu, Misty Princess and others. There were also Warcraft kings such as the Ant God and Phoenix in the Lava Swamp. With Andrew here, there is nothing to be afraid of. Teacher, how did the Grand Duke of Deep Blue do it? Lin Ke said with a serious face. Can we still go back to Nassen? Andrew looked at Lin Ke in surprise. Why go back to Nassen when I'm here? Lin Ke didn't react. Wouldn't it be better to turn the Great Wilderness into the second Nassen? Andrew said as a matter of course. 26 years ago today, Miss Tong experienced the first level 12 pain in her life, but she said that it was the happiest day of her life, not only because it gave me life, but also because it gave my life a new direction and meaning. My happiness is the same. Chapter 434 New Grand Plan. Become a new Nassen? Lin Ke pondered over this sentence, and then seemed to understand something. It means that the Great Wasteland City will directly form a new main plane? Exclamation mark. Main plane? A vast, boundless, high-level, and extremely powerful main plane? Lin Ke's heart was immediately pounding. It is true that under the scheme of the Deep Blue Grand Duke, the Great Wasteland City broke away from Nassen and became an isolated island in the Star World. However, fortune and disaster go hand in hand. It's not so good now, but in the future, the growth space of the Great Wasteland City can be infinitely extended. Hey, Kit, you want to raise a dragon just by giving you a piece of meat? Andrew smiled and knocked on Lin Ke's head, as if he knew what Lin Ke was thinking. The meaning of this sentence is equivalent to opening a dyeing factory with a little dye and flooding the sea with a little water. Aim too high, but your ability is possible. Andrew thought as he ascended into the air. You should go to the secondary plane more often. Maybe there are many things you need. Secondary plane? Lin Ke nodded. He had never underestimated the secondary plane. For example, Fasa gave him surprises in this way. Look more and tell me what you need. Andrew touched his chin. This is my first time as a teacher. I'm not very skilled, but I have seen a lot. Well, what do you think I should do? Teacher, I'm already very satisfied with the title you gave me. Lin Ke shook his head. If I need anything, I can also exchange it with you at an equal value. He didn't want to take advantage of Andrew. He always respected Andrew, a sage from the main plane, which was equivalent to the collection of saints in the previous life. I'm your teacher, not your friend. Andrew knocked on Lin Ke's head again, staring. If you want to do this, I don't want you anymore. He looked like an old child. Lin Ke scratched his head. Okay, but I don't know. If others saw this scene, they would probably spit out blood. Not to mention blood, they would probably spit out their godhood. That's Andrew, big brother. If it was someone else, they would probably say a lot of things they wanted. But Lin Ke really didn't want anything. The key is that he can fight for what he wants, and there is nothing that he can't fight for, and he needs Andrew to come forward to get it. If you insist. Why don't we destroy the Holy Life Alliance? Lin Ke said carefully. Andrew widened his eyes and said in disbelief, are you crazy? Okay, I'm still thinking about revenge on the Sun God and the Rat Emperor. Lin Ke smiled awkwardly and said, then I don't need it for the time being, teacher. I think I can fight for what I want. If I really need it, I'll tell you again. Andrew also thought this was better at this time and nodded. Okay. While the two were talking, Andrew had already flown to the top. There was still a shadow of the sun in the sky here, but it was just a projection. The real sun was on Nassen's side. At this time, outside the sky of the Great Wasteland City, you can see the colorful turbulence of the Star Realm. In the turbulence of the Star Realm, there are many Star Realm virtual beasts staring at the Great Wasteland City. Star Realm virtual beasts are different from Void Star beasts. Void Star beasts are just some lives that can survive in the Star Realm and the Void. Most of these Void Star beasts are plain lives in the Void, which are enough to survive in the Star Realm after the plane is destroyed. There are intelligent lives and humanoid lives, but they are all collectively called Void Star beasts by Nassen. Star Realm virtual beasts are different. Star Realm virtual beasts are a kind of low intelligence life born in the turbulence of the star realm, and have only one means of survival, which is to exist in the turbulence of the star realm as a scavenger. They devour everything that is not wrapped in the void, such as some items that are not devoured and assimilated by the turbulence of the star realm after the plane is destroyed. In Lin Ke's view, star realm virtual beasts are equivalent to scavengers and garbage disposers. And because star realm virtual beasts are born in the star realm, they are full of treasures. It's just that in a place like Nasang, there is Andrew, and there is also Woomian. Therefore, there are no star beasts for a long distance outside Nasang. I don't know how the Deep Blue Duke managed to get the Great Wasteland City to such a treasure land. At this time, the Great Wasteland City is like a large piece of fresh meat, floating in the middle of a forest surrounded by hungry wolves. The star beasts, who could only eat small bites of food before, all gathered around at once. When they saw such a large food, they want to eat a lot. However, at this time, two insignificant figures appeared. No star beast cared about the two figures, because whether it was life or not, it was food in their eyes. The two figures were Lin Ke and Andrew. So many. Andrew looked at the endless star beasts, nodded with satisfaction, and said to Lin Ke beside him, "How do you want to deal with this? I can kill them all, or I can move the Great Wasteland back, or I can hide the Great Wasteland where it is. Kill all the star beasts around. Bring the Great Wasteland back to Nasang. Hide the Great Wasteland from the Star Realm." It has to be said that Andrew is Andrew. Perhaps the Grand Duke of Deep Blue planned for hundreds or thousands of years to strip off the lava swamp. This method is powerful. However, this method is nothing in Andrew's eyes. It can be easily cracked. But Andrew still gave Lin Ke room to choose. Because this time the behavior of the Grand Duke of Deep Blue is both a threat and an opportunity for the Great Wasteland City. 3 choices. Teacher, maybe it can be like this. Lin Ke's eyes flashed, and he suggested we design a protective layer, and then open a few channels directly to the Great Wasteland. Over there, I will design a few more defensive structures for training. Yes, training. These Star Realm virtual beasts are endless, and they can drop materials when they are beaten. What a good thing. If this kind of thing is killed all at once, won't it scare away all the other Star Realm virtual beasts? The same is true for hiding the Great Wasteland City, or dragging it back to Nasang. What a waste of resources. It has to be said that Lin Ke has experienced the resource world in his previous life, and understands the role of resources. Unlike now, Nasang has endless plains waiting to be developed, and it is impossible to understand what resource scarcity means. Oh. Andrew was surprised. Capitalist? That, not really, it's just the rational use of resources. Lin was ashamed. Andrew knew that this profession was not strange, and he felt that his approach was in line with the characteristics of capitalists, to squeeze surplus value. But it felt weird to say it this way. Okay, just as you said. Andrew raised his hands. Elemental capture. Chapter 435. Element capture. Element capture. Andrew's voice was calm, but also a little irritable. Element capture. As soon as Lin Ke heard Andrew's voice, he saw countless colorful rainbow lights shooting out from Andrew's body, like lines. These colorful rays shot out, as if they had life, and each colorful ray rushed straight to a star beast, and then the end seemed to stick to it, as if there was glue. Swish. The star beast was stuck, and then it was dragged back fiercely. One by one, the star beasts were dragged back. This is my meditation method, a skill extended from element capture. Andrew explained to Lin Ke, element capture can improve your meditation efficiency. Do you want it? Yes. Lin Ke blurted out, "Thank you, teacher." The name is simple, but this is from Andrew's meditation method and skill. Andrew was still a little unaccustomed to being called teacher, and he smiled. Your bloodline is much better than mine. With the addition of element capture, your meditation efficiency will be higher. Speaking of efficiency, Lin Ke suddenly thought of the bloodline classification, so he asked, "Teacher, who is the one who classifies the bloodline talent? Why is it so colloquial?" It seems to be Suya. She is the Chris Catman who came to pick you up last time. Although Andrew has existed for eternity, his memory is not bad. Why did she rank like this? Lin Ke was a little speechless. Can't it be quantified directly? Gila 3 was a little silly at the time. Andrew smiled. He was afraid that Suya would not be satisfied, so he copied the name of the rating. Okay. Lin Ke shook his head. He will definitely reclassify and quantify the rating later. Bloodline talent is not as good as level 1 and level 2, which is simple and clear. While Lin Ke and Andrew were chatting easily, the densely packed star beasts were pulled back. Andrew took out a potion bottle, poured all the red potion out to his feet, and then threw the potion bottle to Lin Ke. Lin Ke touched it, and found that the potion bottle was a level 10 magic item. Drink the remaining drop, Andrew said, then raised his right hand, and tapped Lin Ke's forehead. This is the element capture meditation method. Learn it in one go, and absorb it well. One drop. Lin Ke looked at the bottle, and saw that there was still a drop of crystal red potion left, like a ruby. Lin Ke didn't doubt it, and drank it up. Suddenly, a thick lava lore burst out. Lin Ke closed his mouth tightly, but a huge amount of lava lore instantly turned into streams of light, and sprayed out of his nostrils. Great tonic. Lin Ke couldn't speak, so he could only close his eyes quickly, saw the light spot in the soul space, and tapped it. Element capture meditation method. Lin Ke quickly learned it. This meditation method consists of two parts, one is capture and the other is digestion. Lin Ke had never paid attention to meditation before, because his talent was top-notch, or at least exceeded the Nasan rating system. In this case, Lin Ke did not pay much attention, because those meditation methods did not improve the efficiency of his capture and digestion of element. But Andrew's meditation method might have a miraculous effect. Clicking on the light spot, the information flow rushed into Lin Ke's mind. This meditation method seemed simple. In Andrew's description, Lin Ke only needed to throw out a ray of any element to absorb the element. The principle behind this. Gravity? Lin Ke was a little surprised. Has Andrew's research begun to involve the field of gravity? The element capture is to capture with gravity? It seems to be the same when extended to skills. Lin Ke quickly understood the inner principle of this skill and meditation method, and then began to digest. Just now, he swallowed a drop of water, causing Lin Ke's body to be full of lava lores, and there are many kinds of element extended. The entire meditation field is full of huge red, black, and red element. Lin Ke can only capture them one by one, and then drag them back, to be slowly digested by the blood. At this time, he saw countless colorful rainbow lights spurting out from the three bloodlines, touching those huge element like spider webs. Then, the element were broken apart the moment they touched the end of the rainbow light, turning into elemental powder, pouring into the bloodline like quicksand. In the past, a large element was smashed down by Lin Ke, and then slowly digested by the bloodline. Now, while eating and digesting, the growth rate of the bloodline has increased a lot. At this time, the capture and digestion speed can be increased several times. This is the element capture meditation method. Lin Ke was delighted. And just this drop of water actually made Lin Ke's lucky bloodline, inventor, and leader bloodline knight have a breakthrough. In the past, Lin Ke spent less than 2 hours a day to satisfy his bloodline. Now it seems that he can absorb more element every day, and the growth of his bloodline can finally keep up with the speed of his feedback. But this is only Lin Ke. Most other scholars can only spend a lot of time meditating every day to grow their bloodlines and bloodline professions. After meditation satisfies the bloodline, one must also consider how to get feedback. Most people lack feedback, but not time to grow their bloodline. But Lin Ke never lacks feedback, and his feedback can even support him to become a legend. It's just that his bloodline absorbs and digests slowly. Of course, the slowness in this regard depends on who you compare it with. Compared with his own speed of getting feedback, it is of course slow, but compared with others, he is the only one in the history of Nasanj with Andrew level bloodline talent, and his bloodline absorbs and digests element very quickly. Others may not reach level 10 until they are 40 or 50 years old. For example, Garrow's bloodline talent is not bad, but it took his son more than 10 years to catch up. Even in the future, Lin Ke may surpass Aofu, Wumian, and Andrew faster. It seems that I'm one step closer to breaking through to the law body. Lin Ke was extremely happy. He opened his eyes immediately. At this time, Andrew's hands were dancing in the air, and his fingers seemed to be pinching something in the void. And around them, the legends had arrived one by one, and were watching Andrew use his skills. Void construction. Andrew's voice came into Lin Ke's ears. In front of Lin Ke and the others, the densely packed star beasts were shrunk to a certain extent, and then rolled in the star turbulence, as if thrown into a washing machine. There was still a steady stream of star beasts coming from afar, and then they were stuck by the 7-color rainbow light emitted from Andrew's body, and sent into the washing machine in front of them. This washing machine gradually moved over, and merged with the Great Wasteland City plain under Lin Ke and the others. Done. Chapter 436 turned into a tower defense game. Done. Lin Ke looked down. The Great Wasteland City, or rather the Great Wasteland City plain, could no longer be seen. Here, there seemed to be only the turbulence of the astral world. Come on, let me take you in to have a look. Andrew directly took Lin Ke's hand and excitedly cut through the space and entered the void mixed with the plane and the astral world. The bunch of legends naturally followed, because at this time there were many astral beasts in the turbulence of the astral world. Only one person had a bad expression, that was AOF. Seeing Andrew holding Lin Ke's hand and excitedly entering the plane, it must be said that AOF was jealous. But I came here first, AOF muttered, and also cut through the turbulence of the astral world and entered the plane. For legends and gods, it is indeed easy to enter and exit the astral world and the void. After entering, I sensed that invisible channels were forming in the void, one after another. At the same time, Andrew's voice was heard. Thermodynamics. Very interesting classification. Electricity is very reasonable. Maybe it includes magnetism. This passage is guarded by people from geography. That's fine. This passage belongs to mathematics. Andrew was communicating with Lin Ke. Aofu was curious, but didn't want to get close to him. First, he was socially anxious. Although it was not as serious as at the beginning, he still didn't like crowded places. Second, he felt a little jealous. That hateful, respectable, despicable, admired by everyone. Damn, great. Andrew. Aofu felt awkward. At this time, Lin Ke didn't know that his teacher Aofu was jealous. He was planning the passage. In his vision, a passage would be in charge of a subject. What subject? Chinese, mathematics, physics, chemistry, biology. Each subject guards a large passage, and each large passage can be divided into many small passages. For example, Chinese includes politics, history, writing, literature, common language, other languages, etc. In the future, there will be a steady stream of star beasts entering from the passage, and then guarded by people from various subjects. These guards include people from all over the Great Wasteland City, as long as they have a certain level of attainment in this subject. More of them come from the universities to be established, and the various research institutes opened by Lin Ke, such as the Institute of Mathematics. University graduates, when entering the research institute, can combine what they have learned with practice when studying skills. They can defend, attack, and gain, all of which can be applied to actual combat. Then let Velen build a magic tower for the research institute to use. This is a tower defense game. Lin Ke thought of this, and felt suddenly enlightened. Perhaps a points system can be designed, and certain points can be exchanged for certain rewards, such as the ratio of professional characteristics, special resource tilt, etc. The killed star beasts are also a source of materials, which can be sold at a good price in NASAing, or used as experimental materials. This plan is feasible. Of course, there must be strong people stationed behind these channels to prevent star beasts from crossing the line. Crossing the line will result in deduction of points, and personal points will also be taken into account. One by one, Lin Ke formed a series of ideas in his mind, and all the ideas about the construction and coexistence of the channel and the Great Wasteland City were thought out by Lin Ke. Let's do it. He briefly told Andrew about his ideas, and Andrew also thought that Lin Ke's method was great, and even wanted to use it on the Fearless Tower. Unfortunately, the Fearless Tower was related to the safety of the three planes, and could not be changed at will. However, Andrew still praised Lin Ke's mind. He didn't have so many twists and turns in his mind, but Lin Ke was able to draw inferences immediately. Teacher, seal these channels first, and it's better to get an opening authority, so that if a new subject is born, I can also start a new channel. Lin Ke said again. Andrew didn't feel like doing hard labor at all. He just felt that it was easy to do these, especially when he sensed a look full of malice and respect. That little guy, AOF. Andrew sensed AOF's gaze, so he waved his hands more widely and at the same time deliberately scattered colorful brilliance, which was extremely gorgeous. Good disciple, do you think the teacher should do this? Okay. As my disciple, you should do this. What a wonderful idea. Lin Ke, you will definitely inherit my mantle. Andrew's voice spread all around, making Lin Ke feel a little strange. Why did teacher Andrew speak so loudly? And he was pretending to be deep. But Lin Ke thought about it and thought that Andrew deliberately said these words for the legends to hear, which was a kind of protection for him, so he was even more grateful to Andrew. And Andrew's smug look made Aofu over there envious and sour in his heart. As for the other legends, they were originally Lin Ke's subordinates, or relatives and friends, so naturally they had no second thoughts about Lin Ke. But with Andrew's behavior, they respected Lin Ke even more. Even a great man like Andrew respected and loved Lin Ke so much, so you can imagine Lin Ke's potential and talent. Lin Ke is so lucky. It can't be said to be lucky. Lord Lin Ke has always worked very hard. Yes, I respect Lord Lin Ke the most. Whether it is the Warcraft King or the human legends and gods, they are all chatting and very relaxed. What was originally a crisis in Dahuang City has now become an opportunity with Andrew's intervention. The people in Dahuang City are the same. Whether they are ordinary people or professionals, they don't know that the place they are in has changed from Dahuang City to the Star Realm of the Heavens. They just thought there were invaders again, and then the invaders were easily repelled by Lin Ke and his men. Finally, Lin Ke also asked Andrew to build a place where time and space merge. It is Nasang in Dahuang City. Nasang is the main plane, and Lin Ke will not give up. With Andrew, doing these things has become easy. Now, the lava swamp with hundreds of millions of square kilometers originally in Nasang has been moved away from Dahuang City, leaving only a huge deep pit in the original place, and then it is filled with surging seawater. The deep pit is on both sides of the Holy Life Alliance and Azanen territory. This incident naturally frightened many intelligent beings around. How could such a large place disappear without a sound and without explanation? Some intelligent beings in the stars and oceans of waves spread the news through their own unique means. The lava peninsula that was originally connected to Nasang also became an isolated island, and the people on it were extremely panicked. The people in Azanen's territory and the Holy Life Alliance all found out about this news. So, they were all shocked. Chapter 437, The Law of Reproduction and the Rules of Life. Fortunately, there is a live broadcast in Dahuang City. After Andrew set up 3 overlapping surfaces between a certain space in Dahuang City and Azan, the Ocean of Stars and Waves, and the Holy Life Alliance, Dahuang City had a channel to communicate with Nasang. Lin Ke sent soldiers and guards to guard these 3 overlapping surfaces of time and space. After everything was done, Lin Ke brought reporter Bing Bing to Nasang. He had to start a live broadcast and get a newspaper to publicize their story, otherwise he didn't know what the enemy would say. Hooah, hooah, the waves surged. The original location of the lava swamp was filled with turbid seawater, and some storm seagulls were pecking at the corpses of sea beasts on the sea. These sea beasts disappeared in Dahuang City and were knocked unconscious and killed as the seawater poured into the giant pit. There were many magic beasts of more than 10 levels that were not spared. That was a lava swamp that was wider than Lin Ke's previous life of 9.6 million. So much seawater poured in that it even caused earthquakes in some areas of the Gila Kingdom and the Holy Life Alliance, and tsunamis continued along the coast. At this time, a giant octopus was waving its tentacles above the sea area. A breeze blew out from the bottom of its tentacles, and wherever it passed, it was calm. Legendary giant octopus. Damn lava duke. The giant octopus was full of indignation at this time. It was too sudden. The area of the Ocean of Stars and Waves around the lava swamp was nominally the Fishman Kingdom of the Ocean of Stars and Waves, but in fact it was the territory of its Stormbringer Tayin. In the past, every year, it had to drive the overproduced sea life to the lava swamp, to fight with the land life, to relieve the burden of the ocean. The same is true for land life. Fighting with marine life, and pouring into the territory of the Holy Life Alliance and Azan can relieve the pressure on the lava swamp. That is to relieve the pressure on the ecosystem. because whether it is a magic beast or an ordinary beast, there is no entertainment at night, so all traditional life likes to do entertainment activities. Many animals can give birth to many offspring, one nest per life, and some marine life can give birth to a large number of offspring in one life. In addition, the environment is peaceful, so every year, and every few years, they can only reduce pressure by fighting each other. However, the loss this time is too great. It is almost spring, and countless fish, arthropods, reptiles and other marine life are breeding in the sea, and laying countless eggs. Many creatures will die in a very short time, after giving birth to the next generation. It seems that their mission is to pass on their genes. In this case, the old generation of life will die in anticipation of the birth and continuation of new life. At least, they have passed on life. However, this inheritance was destroyed. The huge amount of seawater, carrying countless lives, as well as the crystals and genes of these lives, was destroyed in the huge potential energy. In the area of the legendary giant octopus, 80% of the lives died, and only a small number of lives survived, because of their strong strength. Who is to blame? Of course, it is the hateful Count Link. All Nasan life knows that the lava swamp is the territory of the lava duke. The big octopus also went to the grand event in Dahuang City. The Duke of Lava has Emperor Wumian and Andrew behind him. If it wasn't his own will, who would dare to touch his territory? So it must be the damned Duke of Lava who ran away with his territory. He also took away the lava swamp. It's okay to take away the lava swamp, but you, Duke of Lava, should at least give it a squeak. It can also let the lives in its territory evacuate in advance. This is more than 80% of the lives in such a large sea area. The muddy water in front of him is not only mixed with mud and sand, but also with corpses and blood. This is not seawater, this is muddy blood water. Who? The slippery tentacles of the big octopus waved in the air, disturbing the laws of wind and waves and the laws of reproduction. The endless vitality was poured out from its body, and at the same time, the originally turbulent and turbid seawater also calmed down a little under his disturbance. However, at this moment, a powerful law burst out not far behind it. The rule of life. This is a rule. Such a powerful rule. The big octopus looked back quickly. You know, the rules of life, or laws, can also kill people. Natural cycle. A plain voice sounded. The big octopus immediately saw the Duke of Lava and Andrew, who made it grit its teeth, standing in front of a space gate. And the rules of life were created by Andrew. Andrew was seen floating in the same place with his hands behind his back, his legs empty, and the mysterious rules of life even caused space cracks to appear near him. Not only the rules of life, there are also the laws of the ocean. In just 1 or 2 minutes, the sea area of tens of millions of kilometers became calm, like a big lake. And under this, the mud and sand also sank to the bottom, and the powerful vitality penetrated the seawater, and poured into the broken, but not dead fish eggs and the undead lives. Compared with the rules of life displayed by Andrew, the reproduction law of the big octopus Thames is like a stream to the ocean, which is simply incomparable. This, the big octopus didn't understand. The culprit came back to make amends. At this time, Lin Ke had already flown over with an air pressure shield. You are the Stormbringer Taiyu, right? I'm the Lava Duke Lin Ke of the Gila Kingdom. Lin Ke politely pounded his chest to show respect. The Stormbringer, the giant octopus Taiyu, also hesitated and bowed his head to signal. I'm sorry, because of the plot of the rebellious Duke of Deep Blue of our Gila Kingdom, my lava territory was exiled to the turbulence of the astral world, and I just found it back. Lin Ke's face was full of apologies, because he also saw that the behavior of the Duke of Deep Blue this time had a huge impact on the ecological environment of the surrounding oceans. Moreover, although the giant octopus in front of him was a cold-blooded animal, after opening up his wisdom, he did a lot of good things, and could be considered compassionate, so he apologized with full apology. I'm sorry, I don't know how to compensate you. My teacher Andrew is already trying his best to save those lives. Perhaps, in the future, I can give you, and your people some compensation at the Nasan Joint Trade Fair. So that's it. Duke of Deep Blue. The giant octopus knew that Lin Ke didn't have to apologize at all. But since the culprit was not Lin Ke, it had no other opinions. It had always thought that Lin Ke was not a bad person, but now it saw that there was something else going on. Damn the deep blue duke, he is against the entire star and wave ocean. Tathame said angrily, he is destroying this generation of the ocean. Yes, he is indeed guilty of a heinous crime. At this point, Lin Ke also became serious. The most urgent task is not only to guard against his sneak attacks, but also to find him and execute him. Chapter 438 Customs completed. Yes. Taya was a little angry, and his 8 tentacles danced in the air, even creating a space crack. Then please tell the relevant news to the various Warcraft kings around. I need to meet the Sleepless Emperor now. Lin Ke smiled apologetically, then Teacher Andrew and I will go first. Okay. Taya waved his tentacles, entered the sea water, summoned a group of sea creatures, and began to swim in other directions. Lin Ke also returned to Andrew. No need to look for him, he is in Azan Castle. Andrew opened the space, and took Lin Ke in. After walking through the space crack, Azan Castle was opposite. At this time, a fault had been caused 5 or 6 kilometers outside Azan Castle. The surging sea water was hitting the hard rock wall, making a gurgling sound. On the cliff, many people were watching there, guessing what happened, and pointing at the sea water. However, there were landslides on the cliff from time to time, so people did not dare to get too close. Did our Master Lin Ke move all the people away from the Great Wasteland City? Impossible. Master Lin Ke is the kindest to us, and would not do such a thing. What are you talking about? We should call him the Duke of Lava. Otherwise, how will outsiders see us? We can't embarrass the Master. Some people were whispering and talking loudly, otherwise the sound of the waves was too loud to hear. At this time, the figures of Lin Ke and Andrew appeared in the air. Seeing the names of the villagers below, and hearing their words, Lin Ke was a little emotional. Not everyone wanted to go to the Great Wasteland City. Some old people in Azan were unwilling to leave the land, where they had lived for generations. They loved this land and Azan, so they were more willing to stay, under the pretext of not letting Azan go empty. Lin Ke also respected their choice, and left enough people on the land around the castle, and then gathered these people together for easy management. Not to mention, a group of old men and women gathered together, and it was quite lively, and most of them could support themselves with some simple manual work. The older ones were taken to the nursing home in Dahuang City, where they played mahjong, poker, chess and go every day. It was considered a kind treatment. At this time, Lin Ke and Andrew were doing something else. TSK, you should really ask that villain to do this job. Andrew curled his lips. In front of them, the Azan Castle, which had stood for 100 years, was slowly collapsing and falling down. Lin Ke and Garros had discussed that the historical mission of Azan Castle had been completed. At this time, Azan Castle here would only cause 2 political power centers to appear in lava territory. Therefore, Lin Ke had already decided with Garros to transform Azan Castle, but they had never thought about what to transform it into. At this time, they had thought about it. Transforming it into a customs in Dahuang City is the most suitable. Only after passing the customs can you enter the plane overlap, and then go to Dahuang City. Boom boom. Under Andrew's control, the Azan Castle, which was originally engraved with various secret texts, was kneaded in the air like plasticine, and then turned into stone bricks that flew down. Tat, tat. These stone bricks were neatly arranged and stacked, turning into a customs that stretched for thousands of miles, with countless entry inspection gates arranged in it. After this customs, it is the spatial overlap of entering the Great Desert City. What rules do you want? Let me make it clear first, there are only a few rules I know. Andrew pointed to the customs, and asked Lin Ke, rules, how many? Lin Ke chewed on these words, wondering if Andrew wanted to show off to him, or if he really felt that this was not good enough. Then Lin Ke was sure. Andrew was showing off to Lin Ke, just like a child showing off a good thing. After all, it was a rule. Most legends and gods can only touch the law. The master level is to master a complete rule. Rules, above the law, are the cornerstone of building a plane. Ordinary legends can only create lifeless planes and spaces. However, some beings who master the rules can give the plane a new meaning, that is, the birth of life. Of course, those lives are diverse. They may be traditional carbon-based life, elemental life, silicon-based life and the like. And Andrew knows several rules at once. It's amazing. Teacher, as long as it is durable, can protect the staff inside, and can identify true and false, good and evil, and hidden. Lin Ke thought for a while, and told Andrew the requirements. Hey. Andrew glared. You are so rude. Lin Ke smiled and said, who let the teacher be so powerful? Isn't this a blessing for me? Huh. Andrew snorted coldly, but the corners of his mouth raised and betrayed his mood. Although Andrew has existed since ancient times, his heart is still like a child, and his emotions are all on his face. Or, Andrew will only be like this in front of close people. Before killing the star beast, Andrew didn't have any emotional ups and downs. Solid. Break. Order. Andrew raised his hand and uttered a series of ancient Nasan languages. Secrets appeared one after another and were then engraved on the customs below. The rules of the earth, the rules of rocks, the rules of light. Various rules emerged and were extremely powerful. Even the villagers of Azanin in the distance were stunned by this miracle. They put their right hands on their chests and muttered something. Nasan does not practice kneeling ceremony, but uses chest beating ceremony to express respect or prayer. At this time, the customs, which was originally just a pile of stone bricks, gradually formed into one, and the gaps between the stone bricks closed one by one and merged together. Lin Ke had already told Andrew the drawings of this customs, so it was quite easy for Andrew to cast it. The construction of this customs can be said to be similar to the construction of the original Great Wasteland City. But it took Velen nearly 10 years to build the Great Wasteland City. For Andrew, it was just a few light movements, and his breath did not change at all. Moreover, the customs was built more solidly, more securely, and even looked beautiful, full of Nasan's local style. Okay, done. Andrew patted his hands and said proudly, not bad, right? I also made the Fearless Tower bit by bit back then. PFFT. Lin Ke wanted to praise him, but was frightened by Andrew and spit out a mouthful of words. Did you build the Fearless Tower, teacher? Then it was you? Or Marshal Azan? Andrew raised his eyebrows. I collected materials from countless planes to build the Fearless Tower. Well, I wanted to build a tower at first, but later it became a ring. But the Fearless Tower still sounds better. Hey, in order to build the Fearless Ring. To build the Fearless Tower, I called up the masters of the 3 main planes and beat them up. Seeing Lin Ke's shocked look, Andrew became even more proud. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelos. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 439, The New Main Plane. It seems that it is not enough. Andrew felt that he enjoyed being worshipped by his own disciples, so he said proudly, how is it? What else do you want to build? Let me tell you, back then. Thank you, teacher. Lin Ke said quickly, the construction of the university is imperative. Also, teacher, can you help me reinforce the Great Wilderness City? There are star beasts coming there at any time. It's scary. Oh, by the way, teacher, have you heard of the Dyson Sphere? And wait. Andrew felt that he had been tricked. What's wrong with his disciple's brain? Why does he feel that this brain is better than his? What the hell did you just say? Andrew picked his ear and looked at Lin Ke in surprise. How come your brain is like this? Lin Ke smiled slightly. According to biology, the human brain is... Stop. Andrew touched his chin. Okay, tell me, what else do you want to do? Teacher, our university plane has not been selected yet. I think that each plane should have many typical subject cases, and each college should connect to different planes and corresponding subjects, and there should also be subdivided subjects. Lin Ke began to talk. Anyway, it's Andrew, so he's just asking for a lot of money. You mean, your biology college should have a complete food chain and evolution chain plane, the chemistry college should have various element, and the geography college should have all the terrain and topography? Andrew glared. Are you going to annoy me to death? Andrew didn't feel tired, but he felt very annoyed. So many things have to fit one by one. Wouldn't he be annoyed to death? If the teacher finds it difficult, then just make a few branch planes of the academy. I'll let the teachers and the deans of the branch schools do the rest. Lin Ke also knew that Andrew was hot-tempered and impatient, so he suggested. Under the broken window effect, Andrew also thought that this suggestion was okay. This is more like it. As he said that, Andrew hurriedly pulled Lin Ke into the space crack again, leaving the empty customs building. That seemed like a miracle. The stars of the heavens, the great wasteland city. Citizens and tourists heard the broadcast and knew that the great wasteland city was floating around in the turbulence of the stars. But they were not panicked at all. What are they afraid of? The moon goddess is standing there in the sky. After Lin Ke and Andrew left, the legends welcomed the moon goddess's guard. At this time, the mysterious body of the moon goddess was standing quietly in the sky, and the shadow of a full moon behind her was casting dots of light. She sensed the traces left by Andrew, and immediately understood what Lin Ke did. Smart as always. The moon goddess's face was calm, and she was stabilizing the space of the great wasteland city. Because at this time, there was a huge battle wave coming from outside the space, affecting the stability of the great wasteland city space. Roar. I saw a water blue dragon that was tens of thousands of miles long rushing in the turbulence of the star realm. Some small planes and spaces exploded directly after touching the dragon's body and were swallowed by the turbulence of the star realm. This water blue dragon was colliding with a master level octopus. Zzzz. The octopus's body was emitting waves, which roughly meant, you have crossed the line. Crossing the line. Roar. The water blue dragon let out a huge roar, and the sound directly broke through the turbulence of the star realm, making the body of the octopus bloody. What are you barking at? What are you barking at? If you bark again, I will eat you. The water blue dragon seemed to be extremely angry and bit the octopus. Five-colored dragon mother, you are going to war with us, Kamijaya. The body of the octopus turned into a dark shadow and disappeared, and a large plane appeared in its place. In this large plane countless creatures are surviving, living, and fighting each other, and 3 or 4 gods are fighting. However, at this moment, the huge dragon mouth of the 5-colored dragon mother suddenly closed towards the large plane. Boom. The void outside the plane was instantly bitten by the 5-colored dragon mother, and the crystal wall of the plane also exploded instantly, frightening the gods to tremble. However, the 5-colored dragon mother still stopped the terrifying bite force, and then took the plane away, and sent it to an unknown place. Kamagaya? The 5-colored dragon mother roared again and again, a mere god's main plane. As she said that, the 5-colored dragon mother bit again. You are all crazy. The octopus raised the tentacle that had grown again, after being cut off by Wumian, and roared after breaking it, you will pay the price. The broken tentacle splashed out black blood, turned into a smaller octopus, and gathered towards the 5-colored dragon mother. This trick again. The 5-colored dragon mother waved her claws, and 5 claw marks of red, green, blue, white, and black were quickly shot out. The turbulent flow of the star realm was cleared wherever it passed, and the small octopuses were blown away. Don't run. However, the octopus at this time had already escaped because of the obstruction of the broken tentacles. The 5-colored dragon mother roared in the same place and grabbed and exploded several lifeless planes and spaces. After a long time, she recovered her human form and disappeared. A few minutes after taking her away, she appeared in the same place again, looked around for a long time, and then snorted coldly and disappeared again. Not long after, a string of black and white eyes of different sizes appeared in a certain place in the turbulent flow of the star realm, and all eyes were staring at the direction where the 5-colored dragon mother was walking. At the same time, several voices were communicating in a low voice. This 5-colored dragon mother is a lunatic. That Wumian Giller is also. Everyone in this plane is crazy. My god cannot be looked at directly. Cannot be talked about. Cannot be thought about. Why can these two mortals? For our dignity, we must step on that plane. We are called the god main plane, and they call themselves the legendary main plane. Why is this? We should make a plan. These voices communicated with each other and dispersed after a long time. After these eyes and voices disappeared, the human figure of the 5-colored dragon mother appeared again at the place where the 5-colored dragon mother disappeared not far away. Cannot be looked at directly? Don't know the division of the main plane? At this time, the 5-colored dragon mother, who looked like a noble lady, narrowed her eyes. Her madness was all pretended. Of course, there are certain other reasons, but she doesn't think she is crazy. But, is this a new main plane? And the path they are taking seems to be the path of gods, evil gods? The 5-colored dragon mother thought carefully about the existence of the main planes just now and decided to go back and discuss with Woomian and the others before making a decision. Let's go see how the gardener is doing. Shenlin is really damned. Chapter 440 Give Lin Ke a platform as an inventor. Andrew took Lin Ke back to the office of the Fearless Tower. Then Andrew threw Lin Ke a pen and paper, but it was as in paper. Come on, write down your requirements. Andrew rubbed his forehead. What you said is a bit complicated, but it's interesting. I shouldn't spend my time doing those things. I'll leave it to the people below. Okay. Lin Ke's wish began to write down his requirements and ideas. Anyway, he just wrote down the most perfect ideas and handed them to the people of the Fearless Tower to complete. The people of the Fearless Tower only have the top layer, which is set up for experiments. The other layers are some fighters, guardians, explorers, and supervisors. So Lin Ke is not afraid that no one will complete these planes and requirements. Originally, he wanted to buy a few, ask Woomian for a few, find a few himself, and piece them together for it. Now it's good. It's better to have someone to cover the bottom. It took 10 minutes, and Lin Ke even used the skill to write them down. Hey, your skill is quite interesting. Andrew looked at the on Lin Ke's head in surprise and said, is this the infinite non-repeating decimal mentioned before? Interesting. It is similar to the infinite law of the heavens and stars. As he said that, Andrew looked at the glowing on Lin Ke's head for a few times and constructed it himself. Well, mathematics is indeed very useful. Andrew has always been good enough for mathematics, but he didn't expect that mathematics would also secretly conform to the trend of some laws. Lin Ke saw that Andrew learned this skill after just a few glances and was also surprised at Andrew's learning ability. Yes, in the universe, any phenomenon may deceive you, but mathematics will not. Lin Ke smiled. Your eyes will deceive you, your feelings will deceive you, your experience will deceive you, but mathematics will not. This is also what you taught me before, teacher, not to follow the superiors, not to follow the books, but to follow the facts. Not to follow the superiors, not to follow the books, but to follow the facts. You can believe, but remain skeptical. You can learn from others, but remain independent. You can agree, but keep thinking. I don't know mathematics. I only think realistically. Very good. Andrew is a scholar, the founder of the main plane of Nassen's achievement and the pioneer of the professional system. He has a great deal of recognition for Lin Ke's words. He himself is such an example. Stay humble, study hard and ask questions. This is also his way to become powerful. Keep exploring. Knowledge is power. Andrew looked straight at Lin Ke, stroking his chin, which made Lin Ke wonder, what's wrong, teacher? Andrew smacked his lips. Maybe I should have accepted you earlier. It's never too late. Lin Ke smiled, and then handed over the ASIN paper in his hand. Teacher, it's done. Andrew didn't even look at it, just stretched out his hand and grabbed it, sent it to a certain space, and then looked at Lin Ke and said, what did you say about Dyson Sphere before? What does it mean? Dyson Sphere? Lin Ke just got excited and said a theory from his previous life, but it doesn't make any difference to tell Andrew now. Oh, this is a great. At this point, Lin Ke suddenly thought of the situation in the Fearless Tower, swallowed the grate and continued, I had a dream, and there was a person in the dream. Lin Ke described the Dyson Sphere as what he saw and heard in a dream. Dreams are originally subconscious reactions, so Andrew did not doubt him and thought it was Lin Ke's own idea. Just call it the Lin Ke Sphere. After listening to Lin Ke's narration, Andrew was full of praise for this idea. This is a good idea. The sun is indeed a projection of the fire element plane, but it is not a complete fire element. Planes like Nassen have suns, but that sun is just a projection of a large plane. And if the plane here is large enough, it will collapse into a sphere under the influence of gravity. So the sun, moon, etc. are all round. Only the stars are strange in shape, because they are projections of the kingdom of gods and the legendary demi-plane. These projections are mapped to the plane crystal wall system to form celestial phenomena. So this plan is established. Energy. Energy. This concept is good. Andrew felt that even with his experience and knowledge, he could get some inspiration from Lin Ke. He didn't know that many of the things Lin Ke said were discovered by countless wise people in his previous life. They didn't need to explore magic or professions, so they could delve deeper. Yes, energy can do many things. Lin Ke nodded, but the biggest energy is ourselves, so we can't pursue it too much. Well, but your inventions are really interesting. Andrew put his hands behind his back and floated on the table. And your profession, inventor? I think you need a platform, a dedicated platform. Platform? Lin Ke was puzzled. My great desert city can have it. Teacher, you know the wonderful place. We usually publish there. No, I'm talking about another platform. Andrew said while thinking. A platform where you only need to use your imagination, and someone will complete it for you. A platform where you only need to use your imagination, and someone will complete it for me? Lin Ke thought for a while and shook his head. No, teacher. If that happens, I will become a tool for others to make money. I will build this platform myself, and Dahuang City and the university are my platforms. That makes sense. Just think about it yourself. Andrew patted Lin Ke's back and saw that his disciple liked him more and more. Anyway, the teacher is here. After saying this, Andrew felt refreshed. Since the mythological era, he has never accepted a disciple because he felt that he was incompatible with Nassim. The intelligent life forms of Nassim are barbaric, aggressive, and plundering, and like to occupy everywhere. And he, perhaps because of the influence of the knowledge bloodline, has always liked to think about problems alone. So much so that he is very emotional. Since ancient times, there has been no second knowledge bloodline until he sensed the arrival of Lin Ke. When Lin Ke enlightened 3 bloodlines, Andrew began to pay attention to Lin Ke. It's not that he pays attention to him all the time, but just pays a little attention. But when Lin Ke did amazing things one after another, Andrew really paid attention to Lin Ke. Knowledge bloodline. As Andrew, whose legs were chopped off, is a descendant of Marshal Azan. It is reasonable for Lin Ke to have knowledge bloodline, and this knowledge bloodline must come from Andrew, and the leadership bloodline must come from Marshal Azan. Therefore, Lin Ke himself is actually a lucky little guy. Destiny, luck born from an unpredictable destiny. Andrew likes it. It's the end of the month. Please give me a monthly ticket. Chapter 441 Link Andrew's induction law. I'll take care of everything. Andrew's words really gave Lin Ke a shot of adrenaline. Teacher, thank you for your support. Lin Ke felt very lucky. He had teacher Aofu to protect him from the wind and rain before, and now he has Andrew. Hey, speaking of Aofu, why do I feel like I don't see teacher Aofu? Maybe he is doing research in Dahuang City. Lin Ke shook his head and stopped thinking about Aofu. Okay, let's talk about those colleges and subject classifications you mentioned. I think you have a lot of good things here. Andrew laughed. Come on, talk about it. Lin Ke nodded, still sitting upright, and said, Teacher, you already know the specific subject classifications. I will talk about something systematic. Systematic? Andrew was puzzled. Yes, that is to say, it is easier to explore and learn by classifying them. Lin Ke explained. I think that subjects can be mainly divided into 2 aspects. One is humanities and the other is natural sciences. Andrew was not interested in humanities, so he asked directly, natural sciences? It seems inappropriate for you to call these nature. Nature here specifically refers to the laws believed by races such as tree shepherds and forest deer. That is to say, it is related to plants. Yes, my nature is not the narrow nature, but the broad nature, that is to say, non-artificial and artificial theorems and laws, etc., all belong to nature. Among them, mathematics, physics, chemistry, biology, and geography are the most important basic subjects, and corresponding to them are complex subjects, such as engineering, agriculture, medicine, science, etc. These large colleges can be divided into various small departments, such as the Department of Thermal Engineering and the Department of Mechanics in the School of Physics. Such classification helps us quickly determine the interests and hobbies of our people and select corresponding talents from them, and also helps our research direction to be more professional and refined. Lin Ke spoke slowly, and this time he wrote down all the categories in his memory. What he had heard, seen, and understood in his previous life, all written down on paper. Andrew also became more interested and started to discuss. With systematic planning, Andrew also classified his previous things into this system. As the two of them discussed, Nasang's crystal wall system was also shaking slightly, and a law was faintly visible on it. A new law. A god in the abyss discovered this, and spread the news. A new law, Lin Ke Andrew induction law. Two names again. It starts with Lin Ke again. The most important thing is, how is this possible? Lin Ke's name is actually before Andrew's. Induction? What is induction? Doesn't that mean to pack up? Strange, why can't mine become a law? Andrew's leg, it's incredible. The whole abyss was boiling, and everyone communicated and asked each other. There is also a branch of the Great Wilderness newspaper here, so the person in charge immediately started a live broadcast. The content of the live broadcast was to interview some famous scholars. The Great Wilderness newspaper has its own resident scholars, as well as other scholars hired from outside. At this time, the reporter was interviewing a newly recruited scholar. What do you think about this matter? It is about the Lava Duke of Argilla Kingdom and the sage Andrew jointly creating a new law. The reporter smiled in front of the live camera. Bing Bing is the ace reporter of the Great Wilderness newspaper, but has been isolated in the Great Wilderness Plain. In the abyss, she is the most powerful reporter at the moment, and she must take the lead. The scholar she interviewed is an 11th level Highland scholar, wearing a traditional black wizard robe, with a serious face. I think this is a law proposed by the Duke of Lava as the main one and the sage Andrew as the auxiliary one. The expression of the Highland scholar was full of admiration. The crystal wall system will not lie. Since the name of the Duke of Lava is in front, the effect of this law is mainly based on the Duke of Lava. The voice of the Highland scholar was full of affirmation. The reporter nodded slightly, and continued to ask, can you guess for us what the content of this law of the Duke of Lava is? Guess. The Highland scholar pondered for a moment and said, induction, perhaps a new research method? If we talk about methods, it must be prepared for some experiments and research institutes, or in other words, their method may point out a clear way for many starlight level creatures that are difficult to break through the shackles. If the starlight level creatures use this method to study, the stagnant experiments may move forward. New method. You know, if you master a complete law, you can become a legend. And the Lin Ke Andrew induction law of Link and Andrew gave countless Nasang intelligent life an additional path to choose. Of course, something like the Lin Ke mathematical law can definitely become a legend. It is difficult for many people to study the Lin Ke Andrew induction law. After all, it is just a methodology. And to be honest, if it weren't for the great god Andrew, if Lin Ke had proposed his own feedback, he would definitely not have reached the level of a new law. At most, he would have received some feedback in the profession of scientist. However, Andrew has too much knowledge in his mind. Lin Ke just proposed this method, and Andrew recalled the experiments he had done for tens of thousands of years in his mind. If those experiments were suitable for general induction, he would have gained new insights. When he wrote them down, the usefulness of this induction method was revealed. Induction is used in countless experiments. Moreover, Lin Ke also classified all systems into two categories, humanities and social sciences and natural sciences, collectively referred to as science. He created a school of thought, and unified all the foundations of Nasang for tens of thousands of years into his own school. He founded a school of thought. In this case, induction became a law. Of course, the reporter and the Highland scholar didn't know, they were just guessing and speculating. So, I may also work for the geography scholar in the future, following in the footsteps of Mr. Link, the Highland scholar said, and smiled with anticipation. The reporter was also a little anticipating, but he restrained his emotions well, and then smiled. So, you are going to be a teacher? A geography teacher? Teacher? The Highland scholar shook his head and smiled. My level is too low. There are strong people like Cave Master, Mr. La, Earth Walker, Marquis Constant, Storm Prophet, Kobold Shaman, etc. I used to be just a student. Cave Master, La, an ancient magician. Earth Walker, Marquis Constant, also known as the Desert Marquis. Storm Prophet, Kobold Shaman is also the shaman of a large kobold tribe. It is worthy of our great desert university. The faculty is really very strong. Chapter 442. Great Desert Cities Counterattack. Yes. But I heard that the entrance exam is quite strict, and I don't know if I can enroll. The Highland scholar shook his head and smiled bitterly. The entrance exam of the Great Wilderness University is the focus of everyone's attention. Some ancient magicians have been awakened from their slumber by their descendants. Those who did not wake up during the event have now awakened. This is a good opportunity to break through. The Great Wilderness University is not only connected to the Wonder Great Library of the Great Wilderness City, where students and teachers can borrow books for free. There will also be countless strong people teaching in it, and countless proud children of heaven studying in it. What's more, that is a quota for the Fearless Tower. The opportunity to break through is right in front of us. So, the clouds moved in all directions. However, not long ago, the Great Wilderness City became an independent plane. What do you think of this? The reporter continued to ask questions at this time. The Great Wilderness City became an independent plane? Speaking of this, the Highland scholar's eyes condensed. This is a very sensitive matter. After all, it is related to the Deep Blue Grand Duke. You must know that the Deep Blue Grand Duke has a complex power in the entire Gila Kingdom. Whether it is the huge group of descendants in the territory, the numerous intermarriage families in the kingdom, or other overt or covert relationships, the Deep Blue family is still extremely powerful without the Grand Duke of Deep Blue. But without the Grand Duke of Deep Blue, the Deep Blue family can only fall from the top to a second-rate family. Regarding the judgment of the Grand Duke of Deep Blue, the voices of the entire Gila Kingdom are quite consistent. Even those people in the Deep Blue collar are the same. Because the Grand Duke of Deep Blue actually wanted to assassinate the Emperor Woomian. The Emperor Woomian. In his rage, the mere Deep Blue family can be destroyed in a snap, and it may even be uprooted. So, the wind direction changed. Of course, that is only the wind direction on the surface. Those who are related to the Grand Duke of Deep Blue will try to create a scene of destroying relatives for the sake of justice in order to survive. But secretly, there is a turbulent undercurrent. To evaluate the transformation of the Great Wasteland City into a plane, Deep Blue must be mentioned. The Great Wasteland City has become a plane. I think we should look at it from the perspective of the Duke of Lava. The Highland scholar could only evaluate this incident first. That is to say, the Great Wasteland City has become an independent plane, which has both advantages and disadvantages. The advantages, that the Great Wasteland City has more room for development in the future. It can develop a larger territory without invading or robbing. Moreover, there are countless resources in the star realms of the heavens. The location of the Great Wasteland City is far away from Nassang, unlike the vicinity of Nassang, which has been plundered. The disadvantages are obvious. If you are not in Nassang, you will not be protected by the masters. Being far away from Nassang also means facing more uncertainties and more dangers. It was an obvious answer, but the reporter knew that the next step was the key point. About Deep Blue. Originally, she shouldn't have asked these questions, but this was a requirement from above, and she had to interview them. So she asked, "What do you think of the Grand Duke of Deep Blue, the initiator of this incident, and the Deep Blue collar that originally belonged to him?" Here they come. The Grand Duke of Deep Blue and the Deep Blue collar. This is the highlight of today. The Highland scholar pondered for a moment and said, "Grand Duke Deep Blue is a sinner of our Gula people. Grand Duke Deep Blue is a sinner." Countless people in front of the live broadcast were stunned. Does this person want to die? Although no one has taken action openly. But what about secretly? The people of the Deep Blue family may secretly target those who are not beneficial to their family, whether it is a direct disadvantage or an indirect disadvantage. Even the current Lava family, the former Azan family, that is, the Torrent family, may not be able to save him. Sinner? The reporter's pupils shrank, and the smile on his face remained unchanged. The voice was still steady and asked, "So what do you think are the main sins of the Grand Duke Deep Blue?" Reporter special skill frozen expression. Reporter special skill interview. Reporter special skill empathy. After using 3 skills in a row, the female reporter's expression became more natural, as if what they were talking about was the cafeteria meal this afternoon, not the kingdom's major events. The Highland scholar sensed the reporter's energy fluctuations, and knew that his words were too biased, so he continued, "The crime is in 3 aspects. First, He betrayed the kingdom, betrayed the glory of being a noble, and betrayed my human race. Speaking of the human race, most people refer to the human race of the Gila Kingdom, not the human race of the Everfrizz Council and the Holy Life Alliance. Second, he assassinated His Majesty. Assassinating the strongest person in the human race today is also a sinner of the human race. After all, the strongest also means the protector. Without the strongest, this race is hopeless. Third, he wanted to destroy the Great Wasteland City. As everyone knows, the Great Wasteland City has the most fashionable ideas, the most tolerant society, the richest types of professions, and the most advanced theories in the kingdom. These most are also recognized by the sage Andrew. The Highland scholar's eyes flickered obscurely. He was actually changing the concept. Andrew recognized Lin Ke, not the entire Great Wasteland City. The Great Wasteland City can only be regarded as one of Lin Ke's creations. However, what belongs to the Great Wasteland City belongs to Lin Ke, and recognizing Lin Ke is also recognizing the Great Wasteland City. So, he is betraying us, and is the one who bears the blame, the Highland scholar said in a resounding voice. The reporter nodded slightly, maintaining good professionalism. Well, thank you for your answer. Now, I believe many people have understood the recent events. Next is Ms. Nightingale's time. I'm Zai, and we will meet in the weekly NASN Big and Small Events Chronicles. See you next week. Reporters, I said this, and the photographer immediately gave a thumbs up, representing OK, and then stopped the live broadcast. Zai breathed a long sigh of relief, almost fainted, and her face turned pale. The consumption was too great. In order to stabilize her mind and the mentality of the interviewee, she really consumed a lot. The Highland scholar was not much different, or he was even more afraid. He was the first person to speak the truth publicly, and he was also the one who started the first battle of public opinion. This is a task ordered by the higher-ups. The higher-ups did not say much, just saying that the Great Wilderness newspaper should tell the truth, and look at the Deep Blue Grand Duke dialectically and objectively. At least in public opinion, we must continue to maintain the objectivity and fairness of the Great Wasteland newspaper. But in private, the president above, the powerful level 12, writer, Hang, said, we must be objective, but we must also express the clear position and anger of the Great Wasteland City. Now, the Highland scholar thinks that he has expressed it very well. Of course, he doesn't know that, because of his words, the outside world has also set off a wave of waves. Many people in the outside world believe that the revenge of the Great Wasteland City on Deep Blue has begun. Chapter 443, returning to Dahuang City. Everything needs to be rebuilt. Lin Ke returned to the Great Wasteland City, or rather, the Great Wasteland Plain. The communication with Andrew really benefited Lin Ke a lot. He had an idea about his promotion to the profession of inventor. He had an idea originally, but the communication with Andrew, which came from the wisdom accumulated over endless years, made Lin Ke gain a lot. However, returning to the Great Wasteland City, Lin Ke still felt a headache. A lot of things need to be rebuilt. A lot of things need to be rebuilt. The first thing is the transportation problem. In the original Great Wasteland City, in addition to the conventional Azan Avenue from Azan Castle to the Great Wasteland City, there are also various transportations flying in the sky and running on the ground that can lead to the Great Wasteland. But now, there are only a few overlapping spaces. There are advantages and disadvantages. The advantages that people entering the Great Wasteland City can go through customs to identify whether they can enter and screen. The disadvantages that the flow of people has been greatly reduced. The trading center has just been established, and it is time to expand the trade. In addition, there are many things. Forget about the big shopping mall, at least the passenger flow problem can be solved by moving the big shopping mall. Another key issue is live broadcasting. Live broadcast requires magic electromagnetic waves. The electromagnetic waves in the Great Wasteland City obviously cannot reach NASM. The live broadcast system is scrapped. The computer and internet systems that are being developed can only be scrapped. Of course, the advantage of the internet is that it is easier to lay optical fibers. Originally, Lin Ke planned to popularize computers in the Great Wasteland City. The role of computers is not to play games and watch movies. It is similar to the functions of radios and TVs, plus the effect of searching, looking up knowledge, documents, and books. Knowledge is power. Look at Andrew. Road traffic, passenger flow, electromagnetic wave problems, etc. There is a lot of work to be done. Fortunately, there are marked trees for food, which is enough to eat, and there is a lake and a river for water. Of course, these countless can also be achieved through transportation. However, no matter what, start preparing. Lin Ke returned to the Great Wasteland City and first observed the water source. Water is the source of life. At least it is the source of life for these carbon-based life forms. Lin Ke rode on Zingan and headed north in the Great Wasteland City plain. This is a small river, which originally flowed through Azan Castle and the village, and converged to the ocean of stars and waves in the south. However, at this time, this river was casually treated by Andrew, forming a simple loop at the bottom. But this small river alone cannot withstand the sewage treatment of Dahuang City. Go down, Lucky. Lin Ke patted Lucky's neck gently. Although he can use tricks, to use the air pressure shield to carry him forward, just like Magneto in X-Men. But that is a bit slow. He can also form springboards in the air, and jump or even run directly in the air. This can also exercise his mobility and agility. But now is not the time for him to exercise. Little Lucky came to the end of the stream and landed, emitting its own pressure, scaring away other monsters. Lin Ke landed, and went to the source of the river to check. The water here is like a waterfall. It's just a waterfall flowing backwards. Andrew added the law of gravity to it. The water originally flowing to the north was attracted to flow from the bottom of the plain, and then merged with some groundwater, and flowed back to the source. It looked like a waterfall flowing backwards. The stream was about 10 meters wide, but the water flow was already very small. After all, it flowed through more places, so it was diluted. Microscopic exploration. Lin Ke opened his mouth and uttered a few words, whispering. Skill. Microscopic exploration. The Research Institute of Dahuang develops many skills every year. This microscopic exploration is the latest skill developed, which comes from biological research. The energy in Lin Ke's body boiled slightly, turning into a beam of energy light emitted from his eyes. But the light sank into the water, and Lin Ke's mind suddenly presented an image. An image of the microscopic world. An image of the microscopic world of about 10 square meters was presented. Bacteria and microorganisms are similar to the previous life, but there are also some differences. Maybe there will be bacterial warfare in the future? Well, it's okay for now, but the pollution is a bit serious. Lin Ke saw the situation of the river. Is there pollution? Yes. Pollution is not just chemical pollution, but also pollution of domestic water, and even a bigger pollution. Let's not talk about the cities in the past. Nasang is dozens of times more vast and rich in resources. In this case, the territories of those lords are not particularly polluted. But in fact, the pollution situation in some megacities is still very terrible. Like Dahuang City, it is a metropolis with millions of people. Everyone's daily eating, drinking, defecating, and urinating are discharged into the sea through the sewer. Now there is no sea, so it can only be discharged into the river. Fortunately, although Lin Ke thinks this is a small river, it can still withstand this biological sewage for the time being. As for the problem of the garbage disposal plant, Lin Ke also has to solve it. Headache. There is also the oxygen problem. Lin Ke pinched his forehead and retracted the observation skills of the microscopic world. Oxygen is also a big problem. Fortunately, the lava swamp is originally a huge wetland, with countless plants, mosses, etc. growing on it. This is a big user of countless oxygen. Otherwise, Dahuang City would have been killed by the suffocation problem long ago. Only some powerful professionals can survive without oxygen, and the stronger they are, the longer they live. But this also means that the Great Wasteland City cannot expand outward. Otherwise, with the increase of the city population in the future, there may not be enough oxygen. In that case, if it expands outward, it will certainly have an impact on the ecological environment. Water source, pollution, oxygen. Lin Ke sat down again and narrowed his eyes. Forest hut. Forest hut seems to have something called natural tree. Then, Lin Ke took out his artifact fragment rotten wood block. Andrew told him that this rotten wood block was the artifact that was broken when the King of Gods was killed by Andrew. It was originally a weapon made of the Tree of Life. The Tree of Life, the Tree of Nature and the like are all cultivated by the Fairy clan. One of the 5 holy lives in the Holy Life Alliance. Among them, the original Soul Fairy King was seriously injured and turned into the Emerald Banshee, the Earth Fairy and the Crazy Elf. The first 2 became races, the Banshee clan and the Fairy clan, and the Crazy Elf is a legend. And one of the bloodlines of the Emerald Banshee is the Forest Hut that broke away from the Holy Life Alliance. We can avenge our previous grudges together. Lin Ke sat with a little luck, his mind full of thoughts. The Forest Hut had targeted him more than once before, and it just so happened that the natural tree was said to have the effect of cleansing and washing away filth. There are still 44 minutes. The password, unify the mountains and rivers. Chapter 444 is a severe condemnation, so wait and see. After returning to the Great Wasteland City, Lin Ke immediately called Rika, who was playing Majin with Lalita and the others, while applying a facial mask at home. What? A sudden war with the Forest Hut? Rika raised her eyebrows. But didn't you say that the Great Wasteland City is in the fastest period of development? Will it affect development? Development. Yes, it must develop. Lin Ke also remembered that the Great Wasteland is now an enclave independent of the Gila Kingdom. If a war breaks out with the Forest Hut, even the Mist Princess and the Dark Girl will not be able to get involved. Otherwise, what is the point of the Gila Kingdom bullying a Forest Hut? Of course, the most important thing is that the Forest Hut dares not to provoke the Gila Kingdom, but dares to provoke the Great Wasteland City. As the Duke of Lava, the Great Wasteland City can even be regarded as the capital of the Lava Principality in the future. This is not the Forest Hut provoking the Gila Kingdom, but the Lava Principality. At this time, if Lin Ke uses the name of the Gila Kingdom to counterattack, he will be looked down upon. If the Great Wasteland City attacks the Forest Hut, can it win? There are actually only 2 legends, Orphan the Great River, plus a financial goddess Kanako. There is also Guan Mobi and the Great Forger. There are only these few. There are not many beings from level 15 to 18. Most of them are human races, frost wolves, etc. On the human side, there are only Gyros and Liquor at level 15. There are more beings below level 15. And what about the Forest Hut? According to the information and intelligence, there are about 5 legends and 4 gods. There are 9 here. The strongest among them, the god of nature, is a powerful god of level 25. There are no less than 100 from level 15 to 20. It is very difficult to gain a foothold in the far west countries. As a well-known force among them, the Forest Hut may have more power in secret. Fight or not? According to Lin Ke's meaning, of course fight. In his previous life, Lin Ke was also a hawk. But now that he is the leader of the Great Wasteland City, Lin Ke is undecided. Yes, fighting is easy. He also knows that he will definitely win. But what impact will it have on the Great Wasteland City? Some people will die and some will be injured. The economy will be affected, and development will be affected. Magnus. Lin Ke's face darkened, and he took out the lava scepter, and knocked on the ground. Call the followers who are free now. Come to me. Okay, your highness. The lava dragon Magnus appeared, and then began to summon everyone. Lika knew Lin Ke's hesitation. At this time, what she had to do was not to influence Lin Ke, but to accompany Lin Ke. After a while, Lalita, Nyx and others came. Master, what's wrong? John was always there. Even if he was not free, he would say he was free. In his mind, Dahong City was important, but more important was the master. Nothing was more important than the master. Nyx and others also concentrated on waiting. Forest Hut, everyone knows it. Lin Ke said in a deep voice. Forest Hut? Before, they dared to invade our Dahong while we were away. Speaking of this, Lalita got angry all of a sudden. Sophie also frowned. It's time to settle the accounts, or kill them all. These 2 women are so fierce. Killing them all is too cruel. Capitalist Boljak was so scared that his face was covered with sweat. He hesitated and said, Master Lin Ke, why don't we capture them all and make them slaves? We still need people for mining. When Nyx heard that they were going to be killed, he pricked up his ears and stared. What do you mean by killing? Use them for experiments for us. Recently, our medical department needs a lot of things to experiment with, and there are not enough death row prisoners in the dungeon. Killing is also okay. Financial goddess Kanako obviously wanted to get a piece of the pie. I have too little foundation now, and the kingdom of God is lacking enough souls. Kill them all. Slaves. Experiments. Several other followers also joined in the division. Lin Ke was stunned. No, he didn't want to discuss this. Wait a minute. Lin Ke waved his hand, angrily and amused. Did you misunderstand? Everyone kept an eye on Lin Ke's movements at any time, and stopped at this time. What I mean is that our great wasteland city needs to develop. Lin Ke thought of his previous life. When we are strong enough, wouldn't it be easy to put them to death? To be honest, Lin Ke was also scared this time. Grand Duke Deep Blue throughout the great wasteland city, perhaps because he didn't want the kingdom of Gila to have such a vibrant place, such a place full of change and forge ahead. At the same time, he also wanted to use endless battles to drag down the great wasteland city and the kingdom of Gila. Who knew that Andrew valued Lin Ke so much, so he didn't succeed. However, if Grand Duke Deep Blue was not the kind of person who planned before taking action, but the kind of person who liked to kill directly, then this time, the great wasteland might be killed by Grand Duke Deep Blue. So, Lin Ke hesitated. What he didn't notice was that the leader in his soul was swaying slightly, dimming. Development, economy, life. Everyone was stunned and looked at Lin Ke to speak. Perhaps, we should set up an information platform and then make a solemn representation on it. Lin Ke recalled and said, we express the resolute protest and severe condemnation of the great wasteland city, and warn again, and then. Andrew's leg. I must be crazy. Damn it. When did the legendary soul controller come? Go and ask Lord Ruin. The followers looked at Lin Ke in disbelief. John, who was standing on the side, carefully rubbed Lin Ke's head, as if wondering if he had been hit somewhere. John had heard that a heavy blow to the head seemed to affect the way of thinking. Lin Ke was naturally aware of John's action, so he laughed and said, what's wrong with you? Isn't war bad? Isn't it the most harmful to the people? There is never a winner in war, right? Everyone was stunned again. Lalita stared with wide eyes, thump thump thump, and walked onto the lava throne, looked at Lin Ke, and then raised her right hand high, as if she wanted to slap Lin Ke. But Lin Ke glared, and Lalita hesitated and retracted her hand, and returned to her position in an instant. Lin Ke, do you understand? Lin Ke said slowly at this time, the intentions of your followers. Lin Ke also understood at this time. Lin Ke saw his hesitation from the beginning, but did not point it out. No matter how close the followers are, they still don't understand Lin Ke as well as Lin Ke. So, Lin Ke clenched the lava scepter, and looked at his followers. We don't need to severely condemn the forest cabin. No trade war or economic war. No solemn representations. Scare them and let them wait and see. The followers looked at each other, and said in unison, never. Never given at any time. People will not understand your tolerance, but will support your strength. Quote a sentence from The Darkest Moment. We will never give in. Chapter 445. Never surrender. We will never surrender. Whether it was the medical Knight Nyx, or the Hammer Knight Lalita. Whether it was the Queen of Songs Sophie or the Queen of the Underground, Ms. Black Mountain. Each of them had a firm look in their eyes and spoke loudly. Lord Lin Ke, don't forget the you of the past, the great wilderness of the past, and the Azan of the past. Rami said with a smile, there are no winners in war. Haha, I think there are many winners. The biggest winner in the previous life, the ugly country, was not the winner of the war. Orth also paused his staff, and said in a deep voice, fight to stop war with weapons. Lin Ke, this is what you told me. Lin Ke. The goddess of finance looked directly into Lin Ke's eyes. No one wants their leader to be a weak person. They would rather lead them to be a very courageous and fearless person. Lin Ke's pupils shrank. He stood up and strode to the balcony to view the entire great wilderness city. It is difficult to see the whole city of 1 million people, but Lin Ke sensed the souls of his people from his leader blood. Excitement, happiness, excitement, indifference, anger, sadness. All kinds of emotions flowed into his blood and profession. His profession is leader. How can a person who leads the people be timid? The most important thing is, how can he say that he will wait and see, but there is no raindrop after a lot of thunder? At the beginning, Lin Ke had made a harsh statement to the forest hut. If he did not implement the harsh statement, others would think that Lin Ke was weak and could be bullied, and that the Great Wasteland City was weak and could be bullied. Magnus, turn on the city-wide broadcast. Lin Ke ordered in a deep voice. I want to ask my people. Magnus immediately merged into the Great Wasteland Tower, and then everyone in the city heard her voice. Everyone pay attention. Everyone rest. The leader of the Great Wasteland, His Excellency the Duke of Lava, wants to tell everyone something. At this time, the followers came over one by one, came to Lin Ke, stood still, and looked outside together. Many people in the Great Wasteland City also stopped. Bread makers, glass cleaners, find people, farmers. Countless people looked up and looked in the direction of the Great Wilderness Tower. Duke Lin Ke, do you want to say something? Since the founding of the Great Wilderness City, Lin Ke has never said anything to the people of the city. This is the first time. At the same time, a huge projection of Lin Ke appeared in the direction of the Great Wilderness Tower, standing tall, so that everyone can see what Lin Ke looks like, and even see his expression. Optical skill, refraction. Lin Ke looked at the people below, and suddenly he felt endless confidence in his heart, and a skill appeared automatically. I saw that the leader tree on Lin Ke's leader bloodline grew a leaf, and on it was the image of countless people in the Great Wilderness who looked up and looked forward to it. Skill, public opinion. Lin Ke closed his eyes and used this skill. Suddenly, everyone's mood was reflected in his heart. As a legendary soul manipulator, Ruin helped him find the bad guys among the people, which was a huge expense. But at this time, Lin Ke felt easy to gain the public opinion of millions of people. It was just the cost of an ordinary skill. But Lin Ke knew what everyone meant. Public opinion. I'm Lin Ke, Lin Ke Asen. Lin Ke spoke slowly, but as soon as he finished his name, he heard cheers and applause from the Great Wasteland City. Lin Ke, Duke of Lava. You guide us. Noble, kind, and fearless guide. Lin Ke, I love you. Countless voices were boiling. Lin Ke's heart became more and more calm and peaceful, and he raised his hand and pressed it down. The phantom next to the Great Wasteland Tower did the same. So, the cheers and joy subsided. As the lord of the Great Wasteland City, as the leader of the lava territory, I hope that everyone, every intelligent life, can live happily and beautifully, no matter the stars fall, or the planes disappear. Lin Ke began to tell the story at this time. Countless people stopped their work, looked up, and looked at their lords. They were listening quietly. But, maybe I'm too indecisive. I'm not as fearless as I was when I was young. I'm afraid. Lin Ke's voice gradually became low, and everyone's heart tightened. Some people even covered their mouths. Lin Ke, who led the charge. Lin Ke, who fought on the battlefield at the age of 6. Lin Ke, who charged fearlessly. He was actually afraid! Exclamation mark. Especially in the photo, Lin Ke's face showed a real expression of fear. No. Someone sat down at the door of the store with lifeless eyes. The bread dough in his hand fell to the side, his face full of tears. You are fearless. This is a retired veteran. Because he couldn't find a job, he used his pension and retirement money to open a bakery. He learned all the skills in school. Not only the owner of the bakery, but also taxi drivers, farmers, and professionals reading newspapers in juice bars. They all heard Lin Ke's words. Some cried bitterly, some fell to the ground, and some even went crazy and wanted to rush to the Great Wilderness Tower to question Lin Ke. Ask him why he was afraid. However, at this moment, Lin Ke paused for a few seconds, and his words continued to come. I'm not afraid of those who are stronger than me, not legends and gods, not the master, or in other words, for the sake of my people, I dare to draw my sword in front of legends and masters. I'm afraid that my relatives will be injured, my friends will be injured, my followers will be injured, and my people will be injured. Lin Ke's shadow clenched his fists, and everyone saw the fear on Lin Ke's face. This time, they understood Lin Ke's fear. So everyone breathed a sigh of relief, and at the same time they were more grateful. Yes. Wumian's son-in-law, Andrew's disciple, what is Lin Ke afraid of? What he is afraid of is that the people he cares about will be injured or even die. Some smart people were thinking, what made their leader so scared, afraid of their casualties? Dahuang City is quite safe now. So, today, I hesitated. Lin Ke's expression was heavy when we were still fighting in the phaser plane. The forest had attacked Dahuang. I believe many people have memories. And now, our domestic sewage cannot be treated. Lin Ke truthfully told what he found and speculated in the river and then continued. Forest hut, there are natural trees that can purify water. Now, there are two ways in front of me. The first one is to trade with them and get more benefits. Forget everything they have done to us. Making money is important. Development is important. You know, the Holy Life Alliance may be behind the forest hut. The second choice. Lin Ke paused again and then said, never surrender. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelos. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 446, End War with War, Repay Blood with Blood. The Great Wasteland City was quiet for a moment. The next moment, countless voices rushed into the sky. We will never surrender. No surrender. No surrender. I'm not afraid of death. No matter who they are, no matter what profession they are in, they are basically saying one sentence, or one word. Never. None of them will surrender. Feeling the emotional feedback brought by the skilled public opinion, Lin Ke's heart became firm. I know everyone's choice. He whispered, then raised the lava scepter and slammed it heavily on the ground. We will never surrender. Lin Ke's voice became louder and spread throughout the Great Wasteland City plain. Countless creatures in the lava swamp all raised their heads and looked towards the direction of the Great Wasteland City. We are going to fight the forest hut. Fight them. Fight to the last moment. We will fight them in the woods. Fight them in the fields. Fight them in the rivers. We will use up the last drop of blood in our bodies to fight the enemy. No matter who it is, as long as they have invaded the Great Wasteland City, as long as they want to destroy my territory in the Selfless Plain, we will fight them to the end. Fight to stop war. Stop war with weapons. Tooth for tooth, blood for blood. Prepare for war. Point the sword to the northwest. I will lead the charge. Lin Ke finally spoke loudly. So, roars and shouts rang out in the streets, shops, and communities of the Great Wasteland City. I will follow your will all my life. Only Lin Ke can lead us. Fight the invaders to the end. There are no cowards in my Great Wasteland City, my Azanan, and my lava territory. Fight, fight, fight. Kill, kill, kill. Everyone's blood was aroused. People who are usually quiet and honest, when faced with national problems, are aroused. Dare to fight. Can fight. Win the battle. On the street, the boss who was originally sitting in the bakery suddenly stood up, and the tears flowing from his eyes were like a waterfall compared to the previous time. Fuck the forest hut. The bakery owner suddenly tore off his pastry chef's clothes, revealing the big chest hair inside. Many people on the street ran into the store and changed into Azan's military uniform before they could react and rushed to the city hall. In a juice bar in a shopping mall, a young man who was flirting with girls before, after listening to Lin Ke's story, directly slammed the table and stood up. Fuck love. I want to join the army. The young man roared, and then said to the beautiful girl who looked weak and timid across from him with an apologetic look, I'm sorry, Delia, Gantanayang. I almost caught it. Who knew that? The weak girl jumped up and screamed to the sky and then came to the young man in the next moment, hugged him, and kissed him hard. I'll go with you. The other people in the juice bar were in a similar situation. Drinking juice. Fighting. Guests, I'm a retired veteran. I want to go back. Now, close the shop. The owner of this juice bar also roared, and it seemed that he didn't want to continue to open the shop. Similar things happened to countless people and countless shops in Dahuang City. Of course, the biggest reaction was from Lin Ke's followers. My sledgehammer will sweep across the 4 directions. Lalita was the first to get excited. She was originally wearing loose pajamas, and she was playing Majin with liquor in Lin Ke's villa before, just like a normal housewife. However, at this moment, she was wearing a set of black armor that she had put on at some point, and it was shining on her body. She was carrying a sledgehammer on her shoulder, and she was extremely excited. With Lolita's excitement, the followers also became excited one by one, and the howling of ghosts and wolves resounded around. Capital will lie on the forest hut and suck blood. Bald Jack's eyes were full of red light, and he smiled with squinting eyes, looking eerie. Watson glanced at Bald Jack, squeezed his fist, that was slightly shining with metallic brilliance, and snorted coldly, under the iron fist of the workers. Everything is a paper tiger. Capitalist and worker. Nix was sandwiched in the middle, looking like a gentleman. Anyway, with him around, the members of the Great Wilderness Knights would basically not suffer much damage. Of course, at this time, he only felt that he had to worry about the mental state of Grandma Hissay next to him. Ha ha ha. I'm going to blow them up. Blow them up. Ha 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 ha. Granny Hissay opened her eyes wide, feeling like they were about to pop out, hunched over, waving her hands, and laughing with her mouth wide open. She was like an old woman who had gone mad. She was even so excited that she wanted to jump off the Great Wilderness Tower, but was stopped by Aofu in time. Why don't you continue your research? Aofu stopped Granny Hissay with the thunder staff, looking ashamed. I'll give you the money, and I'll also give you my salary next month. It's a deal. Granny Hissay, who had been like a mad woman, suddenly became as quiet as a virgin. The virgin, who was over 100 years old, seemed to have calmed down all the wrinkles on her face, and then poked Aofu's waist. Well, you've owed me for several months. Aofu nodded helplessly. The goddess of finance not far away saw that Aof, who was at the same level as her, was being held tightly in the palm of her hand. She couldn't help but look at Lin Ke and exchanged glances with Lin Ke. Your teacher, don't you care? Lin Ke was about to return the glance, and Lin Ke next to him also burst out, kill, kill, kill. I'm going to suck all the essence out. Lin Ke's green eyes were full of murderous intent, and her little face was tense. She was obviously excited by Lin Ke's speech. Lin Ke put away his optical skills, and did not calm the excited people down, but took out the secret key of Phaser. I'm going to Phaser, and ask a few people to go with me. Lin Ke opened the secret key and input a large amount of magic power. Space-time teleportation consumes a lot of magic power, and the amount of magic power consumed is caused by multiple factors such as size, weight, magic power content, and soul strength. Especially the teleportation between living planes is more stringent. But generally speaking, with the compressed magic power of professionals, there is no problem at all. Of course, if Lin Ke wants to bring people over, the opponent needs to input magic power himself. Fortunately, there has long been a large-scale space-time transmission array between Phaser and Dahuang City, so it is very convenient for Lin Ke to lead troops. Phaser has long been reformed and opened up, and there are schools and universities everywhere. As long as Lin Ke, their former leader, the Lava King Buck, gives an order, the road for communication and merger between Phaser and Nasan will be opened. At this time, Lin Ke is training his troops. The forest hut is definitely not just the troops on the surface. After the excitement, Lin Ke also has to ensure the safety of his soldiers. At least it cannot be raided. The forest hut must also have hidden planes. Lin Ke also doesn't want to be raided by a group of legions from the secondary plane when they are fighting fiercely. This month's monthly ticket activity is out. Please give me a wave of monthly tickets. Chapter 447, Gentlemen of Phaser, prepare for battle. Phaser, high in the sky, more than 100 incarnations of gods sit in their seats, closing their eyes to rest. This is the place where the god of the sky summons all gods to open the meeting of gods. But since the arrival of the lava demon and the Nasan demons, all gods have been sleeping. Use sleep to ensure that they will not fall. The damage caused by the lava demon to Phaser is too great. Of course, this is only in the eyes of the gods. After all, in their eyes, Phaser exists for them. And now, Phaser's faith in the gods is getting weaker and weaker, and even some great magicians have proposed the tool god theory. Tool god was proposed by Buck, that is, Lin Ke, and represents a kind of transaction between gods and mortals. There is no water here, and mortals use the power of faith to exchange for water, such as asking the water god to make a few rains. Although this is humiliating, at least many gods have the possibility of existing again. So, all gods fell asleep and handed over the power to many popes. The world has changed. Crack. A slight sound. This is the god of the sky at the top moving his fingers. This little noise is as slight as a fly rubbing its legs or an ant shutting its mouth, but it is like thunder in the ears of the gods. That great existence is coming. The god of the sky spoke with no emotion. But the vibration of his fingers at that moment still let the gods know that the god of the sky was definitely not calm. Calm. How could it be calm? Not long ago, their once supreme god, the god of the sky who was about to become the god of gods, the king of gods, and the god of the sky who was believed by the gods, was caught. It was like a little duckling being lifted out by a huge hand. That big hand was ordinary, without any fluctuations of magic and divine power, just like an ordinary person's hand, even a little fat. However, this ordinary and slightly fat hand directly broke through the void of the farther plane, broke through the crystal wall of the farther plane, and broke through the barrier of the kingdom of the god of the sky. All the laws and magic lingering around the god of the sky were instantly crushed by that hand, and could not be stopped for a second. Then, the god of sky was caught without even a scream. Chickens and ducks would make a few cries when they were caught in the hand. The god of sky couldn't even scream. Then in less than a minute, the god of sky was thrown back with a face full of fear. No god knew what happened to the god of sky in that short period of less than a minute. No god dared to ask, but everyone had private guesses. It must be Nassim, the stronger person behind the lava demon. At this time, the restlessness of the god of sky could be seen. It was really someone from Nassim. Gods, wake up, and follow me to welcome the arrival of the Supreme Majesty Lin Ke. The voice of the god of sky was steady and calm, with the momentum of majesty without anger. People who didn't know would think that the god of sky had always been so calm in the face of danger since ancient times. Lava. Duke is here? Yes, the great, supreme, and supreme majesty the Duke of Lava. Our faith, our lighthouse, our god king. The incarnations of the gods were alert in an instant. Calling him his majesty and duke at the same time was very contradictory, but no one felt it was wrong. Regardless of whether it was true or not, these gods were more fanatical than each other, as if Lin Ke was really their god and they were really Lin Ke's fanatics. After all, these gods were prayed to by their saints and fanatics every day before, so they were very familiar with this routine. It can be said that they have never eaten pork, but have seen pigs run. The more fanatical the gods were, the more complicated the mood of the god of the sky became. He had no resistance or hostility towards Lin Ke. Even just thinking about the terrifying existence that was communicating with the Duke of Lava, his godhead felt shaken and exploded. Horror. Great horror. Just thinking about it would make his godhead tremble. With a sigh in his heart, the god of the sky stood up with a face full of resentment, as if the most loyal and humble slave was welcoming his master, and then he came to the mortal world with the fanatical gods. Fasa, the capital of the Vanai party. Here, people come and go, and there are huge crowds of people. Everyone came here to admire Buck's great achievements. This is a great feat that overthrew the gods. In this case, many issues such as public security, food, housing, etc. become extremely important. For example, at this time, in one of the most important halls, there is a huge teleportation array. It is heavily guarded, including a 100-man magic pattern knight group, a 10-man magic pattern great magic group and a powerful existence above level 20, whether it is a god or a magic pattern magician. Because this is a time and space teleportation array, a large time and space teleportation array from Face to Nassim. This time and space teleportation array did not exist originally. This was after the forces of Nassim were taken away. Wumian gave Lin Ke the secret key of Face, and then Lin Ke sent someone to get it. At this time, the time and space teleportation array, which had been silent for a long time, emitted a faint light. In an instant, a group of people immediately appeared here. They are the strong men stationed here. Here. Lord Buck. No, Lord Link is back. That must be right. It's the great flame demon King Bar. Link. Hurry up and report to Lord Dunder and Lord Babing. Miss Yang is in the south, but she can come too. Great. Lord Link is back to lead us. These strong men were more excited than each other. because they knew that the one who came from the teleportation array this time was obviously the one who came with the plain secret key as recorded in the records, and not through another time and space teleportation array. The plain secret key is only in the hands of Lord Link. And following their instructions, the waiters quickly came to the magic brains in a room next to them and tapped on them. This is something made by Lin Ke, similar to a computer. Although it is very primitive, it has great potential. While the strong men were excited, the gods descended. The gods, led by the god of the sky, descended outside the hall. They hid their bodies and waited quietly outside the hall. After a while, they felt the fluctuations of time and space and knew that one had come. So they all put on their expressions and postures, making sure that they would appear excited and humble in Lin Ke's eyes. However, at this moment, when Lin Ke had just arrived, his voice instantly spread all around. Father, prepare for battle. The Great Wasteland City is about to attack the former invaders. This is a good opportunity for us to take revenge. It's the forest hut. The forest hut that used us civilians as shields and used us father civilians as blood food. So, join the Great Wasteland Army and let the forest hut see that we who were once invaded have stood up. Unknown earthquake sources appeared in major hotels tonight. Everyone, please be careful. Open bracket close bracket. Chapter 448, pointing the sword at the west, preparing for war. Prepare for war? Question mark? Everyone and the gods were shocked. This was Lin Ke's first words. It turned out that Lin Ke came here, not for development or anything, but to lead the troops. Even the powerful Great Wilderness, the Duke of Lava, and the Flame Demon King Comrade Lin Ke all needed them to prepare for war. What a powerful opponent. But in a flash, these people from the Fanai party were delighted again. Lord Lin Ke needed them. Needed their help. It has always been them who needed Lin Ke, and Lin Ke has always been the giver. Now, it is finally Lin Ke who needs Fasa. And after hearing what Lin Ke said later, these Fasa people immediately knew who the enemy was. It turned out to be the people from the forest hut. Many people in Fasa knew that the forest hut was an evil force that was hostile to them and massacred many civilians. Lin Ke was promoted to level 15 at that time. The forest hut at that time was extremely hateful, driving away many civilians from the city as cover, and after meeting Lin Ke and his people, they directly sacrificed civilians as blood food to absorb their vitality. Now, within a few months, Dahuang decided to fight back. In the hall, Lin Ke stepped over the teleportation magic circle with a serious face. Lin Ke is of the same nature. Lin Ke is of the same nature. The high-ranking officials of the Fashion Vanai party, led by the great magician of magic pattern, all raised their magic mediums to salute to show respect. Hello, everyone. Lin Ke nodded. At this time, he was not hiding, like he did when he was Buck, so he had no magic medium, so he hammered his chest, which was also a return gift. Everyone did not get entangled in Lin Ke's etiquette, and looked at Lin Ke expectantly. Under Lin Ke's teachings, they were not empty people, but very pragmatic. They did not pay attention to etiquette and other empty things, but paid more attention to reality. As I said, prepare for war. Lin Ke's face was calm. In addition, let Anda and Babing come to see me. At the beginning, Anda, who was just an ordinary magician of a school, was now one of the powerful representatives of the Vanai party. The same is true for Babing. The young man who once dared to swing his sword at Lin Ke not only led the Flame Knights, but was also a strong magic pattern knight. Other representatives of the Vanishing Party include Ms. Yangj, Teacher Anda, etc., as well as the mayors of various cities and the mayors of the regions. However, Lin Ke only needs to summon Anda and Babing. After his return from the Noble Council, Fasa is still undercurrent. Whether it is the various divine messengers and popes left over from the past, or the Fasa salvation organizations that emerged later, they are all among the Fasa people. Of course, only the latter need to be paid attention to. Now most popes, divine messengers, bishops and the like have basically become intermediary heads. The intermediaries between gods and mortals mainly trade the power and miracles of gods and the power of faith of mortals. What the Vanishing Party needs to pay attention to are the Utopia, Fasa Mutual Aid Association, Sky Brotherhood and the like. If Anda has something to do, just let Babing come. Lin Ke will naturally not disturb the development of other aspects of FASA, and only needs the cooperation of FASA's military. Okay, Lin Ke, I have arranged it. The leading magic pattern master smiled and said, both homogeneous people will come, and they are both in Lava City. Okay. Lin Ke nodded slightly, and then whispered, Sky, come over. He actually didn't sense the god of Sky and the others. After all, they are all gods, and the god of Sky is the master. But he can guess that the god of Sky and the others must be paying attention to him at all times. The plane secret key is connected to the time and space laws on the crystal wall system of a plane. Time and space are one of the most powerful laws, even comparable to some rules. If you can comprehend the rules of time and space, it will be even more powerful. As the strongest people in the past, the gods headed by the god of Sky are blood-sucking insects on the crystal wall system of the plane, and their perception of the laws is extremely agile. Lin Ke's return of the plane secret key will naturally make them feel it. Sure enough, as soon as Lin Ke finished speaking, the god of Sky walked in with a group of gods, all of whom flatteredly raised their magic mediums high to the left. Your Majesty Lin Ke, Sky leads the gods to come to see you. The Sky God was all smiles, not caring about the shock of the FASA people next to him. You know, there are many new recruits stationed in the time and space teleportation hall. These new recruits have heard a lot about Lin Ke's deeds, but they have been legends of the Sky God since they were young, so they don't have much concept of Lin Ke's status in their hearts. Until today, they finally understood what it meant to be all paper tigers under the iron fist of the Wild Party. The Sky God and the gods who once dominated FASA for countless years are now as humble as slaves in front of Lin Ke. Well, you guys should also pay attention to prepare. Lin Ke nodded slightly to the Sky God, his expression calm. The space of Nasan is more solid than here, and time is a little slower. Forget it. When you have time, you can go with me to feel it. Sky, you have been there before. The sleepless emperor thought that Lin Ke wanted to use the Sky God as the material for AOF to reverse life and death, so he directly grabbed the Sky God. But later, because Lin Ke had the materials, he put it back. Yes, Great Majesty Lin Ke. The Sky God's face raised his head higher, and the smile on his face became more humble as the dirt. I have been to the Supreme Nasan plane, and I have also met the Supreme Nasan strongmen like you. The gods were all calm, but they all guessed what the Sky God meant, and there were storms in their hearts, but they were more respectful on the surface. Well, Emperor Wumian will not participate in the war this time, but the legends and gods of my great wilderness city will participate in the war, and you will be auxiliary at that time. Lin Ke said, if the priesthood is related to the development of face, just stay, and others who are not related, can go with me. Yes. The Sky God smiled, and immediately arranged the back, the goddess of mist, the god of volcano, the god of the sea. When the Sky God arranged the gods to stay or go, Babing arrived first. Lin Ke is the same. Babing was still wearing armor at this time, and there were fine beads of sweat on his cheeks. It seemed that he had just been training. Babing. Lin Ke couldn't help but smile when he saw Babing. You've grown taller. Babing was just a teenager before, but now he's almost 1.8 meters tall, almost as tall as Lin Ke. Babing's increasingly heroic face showed the love and admiration for his parents and relatives, and he said excitedly, Lin Ke, you're finally back. Immediately, his little face became murderous again. I will lead the Flame Knights to eliminate all enemies for you, no matter if it's Nasan or others. The fan title event is also out. Everyone go and get it. Chapter 449 Main Plane War. Good. Lin Ke always felt that he became more energetic when he looked at young people like Babing. At this time, Anda arrived. Mr. Lin Ke. Anda was still used to calling Lin Ke Mr. as he did in the past. Anda. Lin Ke's smile became even bigger. If Babing was like Lin Ke's son, then Anda was like his superiors and brothers who started a business together, or brothers and superiors and subordinates. Anda was excited at first when he came in, but then he was reserved and just raised his head to salute. Lin Ke went straight forward and gave Anda and Babing a strong hug. The gods such as the god of the sky below were envious. How is the development of Phaser? If we go to war now, how many troops can we raise? Lin Ke asked Anda. Anda is not as smooth as many people in dealing with people. He is a pragmatic person, and he has been tempered in the past few years. There are people like his teacher behind him who help him to watch and advise, so he grows very fast. Phaser is now in a state of disrepair. If we talk about the army, Anda pondered for a moment and said, gather the power of the entire Phaser and mobilize all the people. There can be nearly 50 million people. 50 million troops. This is the potential of a complete large plane. And Lin Ke believes that this is because Phaser was crippled in the past 3 years. Otherwise, with the vast land of Phaser exceeding 1.3 billion people, it is entirely possible to have more troops. Prepare 1 million elite soldiers, at least level 10 or above, otherwise it would be suicide. Lin Ke would not accept all 50 million troops. In the battle of professionals, the high level can easily crush the low level. No problem. Anda nodded and looked at Babing. We have registered the military register, so we can directly select. Babing, I will prepare it now. After that, Babing walked out of the hall in a hurry. Well, how is the university? Lin Ke asked. The university in Nasan is being established. If Phaser runs well, we can communicate later. University. The University of Phaser was actually established earlier, but Lin Ke had no plan for all aspects, and it was all up to Anda and his team to do it themselves. University? Anda shook his head. No, it may take a long time. We have difficulties. Lin Ke nodded slightly, and then communicated with Anda in this hall, mainly about the difficulties of the university, not other difficulties. Finally, after spending more than half an hour communicating, Anda left, and Lin Ke looked at the gods. Have you arranged it? Lin Ke asked the god of the sky. Come back with me now. The god of the sky smiled. No problem, your majesty Lin Ke. Just call me the Duke of Lava. Lin Ke waved his hand. The majesty of the kingdom of Nasangila is the Emperor Wumian. No matter how you call him in private, at least you can't call him your majesty in public. There is only one majesty in the kingdom of Gila, the Emperor Wumian. Yes, Duke of Lava. The sky god changed his address respectfully. Our 180 gods are ready. Follow me. Lin Ke walked forward and stepped into the time and space teleportation array. Just input magic power. After saying that, Lin Ke walked first. The sky god brought the gods one by one to the time and space teleportation array, and then input magic power intrepidation, and went to the legendary Nasang together. Nasang, Dahuang City. Now the people are in high spirits against the forest. Lin Ke is naturally very busy. At this time, he summoned all the legends to discuss the war together. Great Forger, Li Guan Mabi, Soul Manipulator, Ruin, Dark Girl, Mist Banshee, Goddess of Finance, Aofu. Looking at it, there are quite a few legends and gods in Dahuang City now. Of course, most of them are not cultivated by themselves. However, at least Ruin and Dark Girl can help guard Dahuang City when he is away. Lin Ke, are you sure you don't want us to go on the field? Ruin looked at Lin Ke with his strange and beautiful eyes. My father's position has no impact on me. Ruin's father is the Grand Duke of Hurricane. No, regardless of whether it affects us or not, this is the business of the Great Wasteland City. Lin Ke shook his head. You are all friends of the Great Wasteland City. I can't let you fight for me. Friends are friends. When there is a problem, it is really wrong to always ask friends for help. It will be bad to form dependence in the long run. Okay. Misty nodded slightly. We respect your decision. Regarding the war with the forest hut, you don't have to submit a war application, but directly raid. Generally speaking, the war in Nasan requires an application to be submitted. Unless there is a grudge, you can choose to submit it after the raid. Misty continued, but the far west countries are far away. What kind of transmission method do you choose to use? This is a more practical problem. The transmission method determines the time that Princess Misty and others guard the Great Wasteland City. The teleportation array is too expensive. Lin Ke couldn't help but ponder. Maybe we will use both the teleportation array and the magic device. The cost of building a space-time teleportation array in Nasan is huge. Even with Lin Ke's family background, he can't choose to build a teleportation array directly there. He can only teleport to the territory of a noble of the kingdom of Gila, and then use the magic device to rush to the forest hut. He also needs to consider the various spheres of influence along the way to avoid other incidents. It can be said that the war between various forces in the main plane is much more complicated than the invasion war of the secondary plane. and the issue of prisoners of war this time. Are you going to kill or sell or? The Misty Princess is obviously more experienced, so she asked more questions. Ruin also interrupted and said, if they are all souls of the main plane, I think I can offer a good price. As he said, Ruin licked his lips. I can too. The dark girl said, I will give them salvation. As he was talking, the space here produced a little fluctuation, which came from Lin Ke's secret key of the phaser plane. This means that someone is going to teleport here, probably the gods of phaser just now. It takes a lot of time and magic power to teleport giants like the gods. Lin Ke had been in a meeting for 10 minutes, and they just arrived. After thinking about it, Lin Ke did not lead the gods' teleportation to the original time and space teleportation array, but led it to the time and space key of the farther plane. But the air trembled slightly, and everyone noticed the change in time and space. A flash of light passed, and 180 gods crowded into the conference room. The sky was very nervous, fearing that he would encounter an existence like the last time, the so-called emperor. So he warned the gods to abide by the rules and not act recklessly. And at this time, they arrived. As soon as they opened their eyes, they saw a group of extremely powerful beings. Chapter 450, The Fantastic Journey of the Mist Goddess. The goddess of mist admitted that Nasan was very powerful, but she never thought that it was so powerful. Just after arriving at Nasan, before she could sense the laws and element, she felt a penetrating and insightful gaze darting over. That gaze was like a hungry wolf scanning for dinner tonight and seeing a delicious and tender white rabbit. It was so terrifying. The goddess of mist was trembling wildly, warning her to quickly escape from the gaze of this terrifying existence. She dared not move her body. In particular, she could sense that one of the gazes was extremely malicious. No, perhaps it was not malicious, but the most primitive and instinctive physiological impulse. Not that kind of physiological impulse, but the desire to eat. Someone wanted to eat him. Huh. The Law of Mist? A doubtful but slightly interested voice sounded. Hearing this voice, the goddess of mist softened and almost screamed. In her ears, the form of language expression is no longer important. Emotions and fluctuations are the way to express needs. For example, the voice just now, although it spoke the same Nasan common language as the lava duke, but in fact, what it meant to him was, this creature looks delicious. I really want to have a taste. Slap. Just when the cloud goddess wanted to escape instinctively, Lin Ke's voice appeared. Sister Misty, stop making trouble. Lin Ke was a little helpless. In fact, Lin Ke had thought about giving the cloud goddess to the Misty Princess before. After all, the laws are similar. Even if the mist does not need to be eaten, it can be kept as a pet. But now, in order to use and control the phaser gods, Lin Ke can only keep the phaser cloud goddess. Otherwise, when the phaser gods see that one of them was swallowed as soon as he arrived in Nasan, who will serve him in the future? And as the planes under Lin Ke's command increase in the future, someone will have to manage them. In addition to the autonomy of this plane, there must always be an inspector to prevent a fire in the backyard. Everyone, this is the god manager of my phaser, the gods of phaser. Lin Ke raised his hand and pointed to the gods of phaser headed by the god of sky. The god of sky tried to straighten his chest, while the other gods of phaser were listless. The level of the god of sky was not low, and it could even be said to be very high. But he could feel that there was a figure next to Lin Ke, who should be the legendary legend. A powerful legend. In his perception, the legend in front of him had an energy fluctuation of about level 25 at most. According to Nasan's level conversion, it should be the same level as him. However, the god of sky could feel that the man could definitely kill him with one hammer. One hammer? The god of sky was immediately alert. It must be that his divinity had noticed the rules of this legend, so he could have such a reaction. Too powerful. At this time, Lin Ke pointed to the people around him and said, these are the legends and gods of my great desert city. Li Mobi nodded. These gods are ordinary, and there is nothing special about them. For example, the goddess of mist and others often ate some food cultivated by the gods when they were young. After becoming legends or gods, they can travel through countless planes in the heavens and stars. As the children of the sleepless emperor, they will never lack opportunities and planes. That's why their level is so high. Even an ancient existence like Li Guanmobi is only as high as the Great Prince in terms of level. The existence of the Grand Duke of Hurricane will not reduce the investment of children like Ruwen. Therefore, in the eyes of Li Guanmobi, the Mist Princess and others, this batch of gods of Phaser is ordinary, and the quality can only be said to be acceptable. Therefore, they just nodded casually, and continued to discuss with Lin Ke. Lin Ke sat on the highest lava throne, and discussed with Li Guanmobi and others. Li Guanmobi and others would not think that it was wrong for Lin Ke to sit so high. After all, Lin Ke is a duke, and according to the title, he is definitely above everyone else. In the eyes of the Sky God and others, this just proves the high status of Lin Ke. After all, the strength of these legends and gods can definitely crush the gods of Phaser, let alone Li Guanmobi. And these legends and gods are all below Lin Ke, and they are obviously sent by Lin Ke. But on second thought, isn't it the same for people including the Sky God? Their levels are much higher than Lin Ke, but they are also submissive. It's normal for Lin Ke to sit on the throne. They even thought that, if Lin Ke charged with his knights, the might, even these legends and gods, plus the Nasan gods, would probably be difficult to resist. This is the power of this Nasan clean, professionals, and knights. Of course, the Sky Gods didn't know that the Black and White Knights also charged with Lin Ke. If it was just the Azan Legion or the Great Wilderness Knights, Lin Ke would definitely not be that strong. So, the decapitation operation is also very good. If they dare to come, I will give them redemption. The strongest legend in the open is the god of the forest. I can stop him. Hey, that old deer used to run away with us. We must also prevent assassinations by the Shadow Organization. Well, for my dears I am Lin Ke. I'll eat one for each one. My mist can cover the entire Great Wilderness Plain. The Dark Girl and others chatted excitedly. Each of them was murderous, as if they were not preparing for a war, but a feast. Only the goddess of clouds and mists felt like she was sitting on pins and needles. Too scary. Too scary. Too scary. Her godhead has been screaming and trembling, and the legend named Mist has been paying attention to her vaguely. Even in her feeling, it was as if that existence was licking her from time to time. Finally, in another attention, the goddess of clouds and mists felt as if her godhead was gently sucked, and her tolerance for fear reached its limit. The goddess of mist let out a high-pitched scream, as if a huge field mouse was frightened by the eyes of an old cat. Suddenly, everyone who was discussing at the round table, including the gods of Phaser, cast strange looks over here. What is this? What is this for? The god of the sky turned his head and cast an unbelievable look over here, as if to say, what are you yelling about for no reason? At this time, the gods of the sky wished they didn't exist. What is this goddess of mist doing? Lin Ke also looked over, looked at the blushing face of the goddess of mist, and then glanced at the goddess of mist with a calm expression, helpless. Thinking back to when he was only 6 years old, he was teased by the princess of mist. Now it seems that the princess of mist likes the goddess of mist very much. Goddess of mist, don't worry, this is the princess of mist, the daughter of the Emperor Wumian. She just likes you very much. That's all. End of this chapter. Thank you very much for reaching the end. Don't forget to like. Looking for more exclusive content and immediate access? Subscribe to our Patreon. Remember, every like, subscription, or donation encourages us to continue. Thanks to everyone. See you in the next video.